Bruce Bochy's 1996 San Diego Padres being introduced. It's a very good lineup this year for the Padres. They believe they can contend in the West. They realize that everybody is picking the Dodgers. But like everybody else, Bruce Bochy says if the pitching stays healthy, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with. And that is a solid club from top to bottom. They added Rickey Henderson. They added Wally Joyner. They've got a very good defensive lineup this year. And with some solid baseball early, they feel that they can certainly be a force in the West. And everybody looking forward to the reemergence in the lineup of Ryne Sandberg, who had a great spring this year. He fielded well. He hit the ball especially well. And you got to believe there's a lot of butterflies in the stomach of Ryne Sandberg. You never really appreciate this game while you're playing it. You only can appreciate it when you step back and take a look at it. Sandberg had the opportunity to step away, and now he's back. So let's throw it down to the field for the announcing of the 1996 Chicago Cubs.
Tom Hellman. And now, ladies and gentlemen, introducing your 1996 Chicago Cubs. The manager of the Chicago Cubs, number 5, Jim Riggleman. And here's the starting lineup. Batting first and playing center field, number 56, Brian McRae. Batting second and playing second base, number 23, Ryne Sandberg. Batting third and playing first base, number 17, Mark Rice. Hitting fourth and playing right field, number 21, Sammy Sosa. Hitting fifth and playing left field, number 25, Luis Gonzalez. Hitting sixth and catching for the Cubs today, number 9, Scott Service. Batting seventh and playing third base, number 18, Jose Hernandez. Batting eighth and playing shortstop, number 11, Ray Sanchez. Batting ninth and pitching today for the Cubs, warming up in the left field bullpen, right-hander, number 38, Jamie Navarro.
We'll cut away from the festivities, and we'll be back with more after these messages. The Cubs still being announced. We'll take you back down to the field for more opening day festivities.
Jim Bullinger. Number 55, Larry Cassian. And number 59, Rodney Myers. The catcher, number 4, Brian Dorsett. The infielders, number 12, Leo Gomez. Number 16. Number 24, Todd Haney. The outfielders, number 10, Scott Bullitt. Number 19, Brooks Kieschnick. Number 30, Ozzie Timmons. The Chicago Cubs coaching staff, number 3, Marco Oliveras. Number 26, Billy Williams. Number 31, Fergie Jenkins. Number 40, Tony Muser. Number 42, Dan Radisson. And number 43, Dave Bialas. The Cubs head trainer, John Fierro.
Andy Ashby going to the mound for San Diego. He's a hard-throwing right-hander with an ERA under 3 last year, and it looks like he's just coming of age. And on the mound for the Cubs ace, Jamie Navarro, hoping to improve on the 14 wins of last year. He had a great spring, throwing the ball exceptionally well, and the wind is blowing in today. It's an outstanding day to pitch. And now, our national anthem.
From the United States Army, Chicago Recruiting Company. Ladies and gentlemen, we now ask you to please rise and join Chicago favorite Wayne Messmer for the singing of our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Opening day 1996, the first of 162 game piece of the puzzle. Let's hope it's going to be exciting. The Cubs have high hopes, and we'll be back with baseball after these messages.
Guests on the leadoff man receive a Zenith Color TV with remote control. At Zenith, the quality goes in before the name goes on. And a handsome piece of jewelry from Henry K. Jewelers, 3rd level Water Tower Place, Chicago. The leadoff man has been brought to you by Dodge. Dodge welcomes you to visit the friendly Dodge dealer near you to see their new lineup of 96 Dodge cars and trucks.
Listen to what you can do by controlling this laser. It's the world at your fingertips at Science Carnival, now playing at the Nature Museum of the Chicago Academy of Sciences through June 16th at North Pier. Cub fans, keep your eye on the ball. Every time a Cub player hits a homer at Wrigley Field, you could be a winner. It's the Southwest Airlines How Far Did It Fly home run contest. After every Cub homer, write down the distance along with your name and address and send it to WGN-TV. We'll choose 10 winners to fly to any Southwest Airlines destination. For every Cub homer, ask yourself, how far did it fly? From Southwest Airlines, celebrating 25 years of low fares, frequent flights, and fun. This is WGN Chicago.
I think so.
The following is a presentation of WGN Sports.
April the 1st, 1996, baseball time at Wrigley Field, the earliest opening date in history. Come over and join us. A beautiful day. The sun is shining, and the Cubs anxious to start with a victory.
Chicago Cubs baseball on WGN. Brought to you by Beechwood Aged Budweiser. For a clean, crisp taste you won't find in any other beer. This Bud's for you. The Stars of Chicagoland, your local Chrysler Plymouth dealers. Electric Avenue Montgomery Ward, the store for great prices on brand name electronics and appliances. Pepsi, drink Pepsi, get stuff. Aflac, insuring over 38 million people worldwide. And by Southwest Airlines, celebrating 25 years of low fares, frequent flights, and fun.
Michael Caine loves Sally Field.
I'm enormously attracted to you.
I don't make love before the first date.
Steve Gutenberg loves Sally Field.
Marry me, Daisy.
You have to say yes.
I do?
You do.
But who does Sally Field love?
I feel sick.
When a love story
It was incredible.
gets this confusing,
You're a weird person, aren't you?
it's time to
Can't you just stop being a hopeless romantic?
surrender. Tonight at 7 on WGN Channel 9.
KTLP weather update. A little breezy today, so wear a light jacket.
Next time, check the Weather Channel. Our severe weather watch tracks storms with the most advanced satellite technology available. The Weather Channel. No place on Earth has better weather.
You think about your house a lot. You know how to make things happen. You take pride in a job well done. You know the difference between semi-gloss and flat. You know you can do it yourself, because you know help is just around the corner.
The most beautiful April Fool's Day you've ever had. The opening day of the season here at Wrigley Field. Harry Caray with Steve Stone and Wayne Larrivee. And you couldn't want a better day than this.
Well, Harry, it is gorgeous, and everybody ready for baseball. High hopes here in 1996. The Cubs had a great spring training, and Harry, just about everybody's healthy.
You know, Wayne, all we need, if we win this first game, then we only got 89 more to win to get in the playoffs for sure.
You got that right, Harry, and no better time to start than right now.
You know, it's amazing, the enthusiasm of the people coming to the ballpark. They're lined up all over the ballpark. I don't know what's going on, probably a million parties.
Well, it was certainly announced that it's a sellout here today. You see Jamie Navarro walking in. He's ready for his first opening day start ever. And he had some good years in Milwaukee, a great year last year. But, Harry, your first opening day start, you got to have some butterflies.
You know, Andy Ashby, it's a funny thing. He was a pitcher thrown into the deal later when they acquired Brad Ausmus. And it turns out he's our best pitcher.
Yeah, he's starting opening day. It's his second year with this ball club. He had a great ERA last year. He only got about 3.6 runs per game. Otherwise, this guy probably wins 17 games last year. So this is a quality pitcher. It is a great pitching matchup here on opening day.
There's a look at Tony Gwynn, everybody's odds-on favorite to win yet another batting title. He's only got 6 of them so far, Harry, so I'm sure that he's not going to have any problems hitting the baseball. And there's the man that everybody wants to see, Ryne Sandberg, back in a Cub uniform, back at second base, and back in the starting lineup.
You know, I hope we don't put too much pressure on Sandberg and just look on him as another ball player, because it's a ball team that has to win, not any one individual. All right, we're ready for baseball. Are you?
When I got rid of my gray hair, I wanted a natural look, so I didn't take any chances. I used the sure thing for a natural look, called Just for Men.
Apply Just for Men, and in 5 minutes, rinse. It's specially timed to blend away gray, bring back your natural look, and condition hair.
It's a sure thing.
Just for Men, the sure thing for a natural look. And now try Just for Men Color Gel for the hard-to-color hair of mustaches and beards. Brush in, rinse out. Just 5 minutes.
Introducing the new Pepsi Stuff catalog. Now, the more Pepsi you drink, the more great stuff you're going to get.
Sure beats the bus.
You think about your house a lot. You know how to make things happen. You take pride in a job well done. You know the difference between semi-gloss and flat. You know you can do it yourself, because you know help is just around the corner.
Harry Caray back at Wrigley Field. And here are the lineups. Bruce Bochy, the manager of the Padres, has this lineup. Rickey Henderson leading off. Steve Finley in center field. Tony Gwynn in right field. Ken Caminiti at third base. Wally Joyner at first base. Brad Ausmus, the catcher. Andujar Cedeno at shortstop. Jody Reed, the second baseman. And Andy Ashby is on the mound. Pepsi gives you the Cubs defense, which is Gonzalez, McRae, and Sosa in the outfield. Fernandez at third. Sanchez at short. Sandberg at second. Grace at first. Service catching. Navarro pitching. And the umpire, Jim Quick, behind the plate. David DeMuth at first. Gary Darling at second. Charlie Relaford at third. And boy, anybody who doesn't get excited about the opening game of the season, something must be wrong with them. First pitch gets away for service. Ball one low and away.
There's a look at Jamie Navarro, and Jamie Navarro has got to throw strikes to Rickey Henderson, because you've got to keep him off base if you're going to beat the Padres.
And the pitch inside almost hit him. Boy, you know, Rickey Henderson leads the major leagues in bases stolen. Over 1,100 or something.
He also has an abnormally high on-base percentage. It's usually around or over 400. And that's a testament to his ability to draw walks.
I tell you, there's a strike call, and it's evened up 2-2. 67 different times he's led off an inning with a home run. Led off the ball game, the first inning with a home run, a record. 2-2. Ah, come on. Boy, he had good stuff on that slider. Believe you me, and that brings a roar from the crowd.
This one out away from Henderson. He just swings through it. Jamie Navarro throwing awfully hard here today. You got to believe in this, his first Major League opening day assignment, that he has got to be tremendously pumped up.
One out, nobody on. And here is Steve Finley, their center fielder. You know, Henderson stole 32 bases last year. He's leading off for them. He was with Oakland last year. Here's a ground ball foul. Steve Finley playing center, batting now, stole 36 bases. Tony Gwynn, besides being the great hitter that he is, stole 17 last year. So that'll give you an idea of their speed. At the top of the batting order, foul ball.
If you can get loose today, it's a tremendous advantage to the pitcher. Hitters just don't like to hit the ball, especially inside. You get a lot of buzzing in your hands if you don't hit the ball squarely, and Navarro should be able to take advantage of it. He throws 93, 94 miles an hour.
He barely tipped it foul. And so the count still stays 0-2.
There's a man behind the plate who had such a brilliant year last year after coming over from Houston in what turned out to be a great trade for Ed Lynch and the Cubs. Louis Gonzalez and Scott Service doing yeoman-like work.
Just a little bit outside. Well, Atlanta, opening its season at home, is leading the Giants 4-0 at the end of 4. What else is new? High fly ball. Who's going to get it? Hernandez near the stands, can't reach it. The wind blowing more in on more cross field than anything, wouldn't you say?
I would say, Harry, it's blowing pretty much straight in. It's going to be very difficult to hit the ball out of the ballpark today unless you hit a line drive out. It will go out, however. We saw Sammy Sosa and Ozzie Timmons hit line drives out of the park in batting practice. So if you can hit the ball on the line over the 368 mark or take it down the line, especially in right field, it will go out of the park.
Finley count 1 ball, 2 strikes. He held up in time. They appeal. Hey! The third base umpire says he went around. Charlie Relaford.
Finley not very happy with this hard slider down. Jim Quick didn't see it, but Charlie Relaford said he went around far enough. Look at the reaction of Steve Finley. You got to figure it's going to be a long year if they're calling that early, but Jamie Navarro will take it. 2 up, 2 strikeouts. Good hard slider.
What else is new? First pitch, Tony Gwynn lines a double to left field. On the very first pitch from Jamie Navarro, Tony Gwynn shooting for his 7th batting title, which would tie him with Sam Musial, doubles to left.
Gwynn probably one of the few guys who hit much less in Arizona than he'll probably hit this year, and he hit 344 in spring training. But Gwynn showed you just why he is one of the great hitters to ever put on a uniform. He just went right with it, sliced it down the line for 2 bases.
Caminiti.
This might be a nice time for Sanchez to sneak in back of Gwynn, maybe shorten up that lead with the outfield playing a little more shallow, and also serve notice to the base runners that you do have a pickoff move at second base.
Caminiti almost hit by a pitch ball. 33 years old now. By the way, this is Frank Castillo's 27th birthday today. Tomorrow being an off day, he'll celebrate by pitching the final game of the series Wednesday. There he is in the warmth of the Cub dugout.
Caminiti had a breakthrough year for him last year in the power department. 26 home runs, 94 driven in, and he hit 302.
Line drive right at Hernandez. Saved the run. And the inning is over. 1 hit, no runs, 1 left. Bottom of the first, no score. Harry Caray with Steve Stone. Say, do you feel a cold coming on?
A scratchiness in your throat.
Maybe you picked up a little bug that's been going around.
Yes, a bug.
Gosh, I hope you don't have to miss work someday soon.
It would really be a shame if you had to take a sick day on one of those dates you see there on your screen.
Man, oh man, that would be a shame. For now, this is Harry Caray.
And Steve Stone saying,
holy cow, you don't look so good.
There were 2 times when we wanted our customers to really appreciate the new Chrysler Sebring convertible. Day and night. We literally redefined the convertible from the ground up.
Of course, sunny skies and starry nights aren't the only reasons to own this car.
It's quieter than you'd expect.
Cab forward provides more interior room as well as a more stable ride.
It truly is a car that gives you the sun, the moon,
and an actual backseat.
See the bright new stars of Chicagoland at your Chrysler Plymouth dealer.
Harry Caray with Steve Stone and Wayne Larrivee. Here's Pepsi's lineup for Jim Rittenberg. McRae leading it off in center field. Sandberg at second. Grace at first. Sosa in right. Gonzalez in left. Service catching. Hernandez at third. Sanchez playing short. Navarro on the mound. Here's the Padres defense of Henderson, Finley, and Gwynn on the outfield, and in the infield, Caminiti robbed of a double his first time up. Cedeno, Reed, and Joyner with Ashby pitching and Ausmus catching.
Cedeno had some problems last year defensively, but he had a great spring, and Andy Ashby had a remarkable year last year. A 2.94 ERA. He walked only 62 men in 192 innings, and for him it was a breakthrough year. He had previously a lot of control problems.
He originally was signed by the Phillies. First pitch, and he swings easy out. Jody Reed over to first on the first pitch. And listen to the hand now for Ryne Sandberg. Standing ovation. The last time he played for the Cubs in the National League was back in 1994, May 10th, 2 years ago. 0-1 the count. Jim Riggleman, the Cub manager, very conscious of the fact there's a lot of pressure on Sandberg, and he wants people to think of him as just another big part of this ball club, because teams win. Individuals may get awards, but it takes a team to win. 1 out, nobody on. Line drive, left center field. The wind's gonna hold it up. Holy cow, Rickey Henderson. That ball would have been the first home run. Listen to Handy gets trotting back into the dugout. Oh, no doubt about that one. But the wind held it up.
Sandberg hit that ball right on the button and was just stopped from a Cinderella first at bat by a very heavy wind blowing straight in.
This Joyner had gone crazy. Here's Grace. First pitch over the outside corner. I guess a lot of them are saying, Rhino, you picked the wrong day. If the wind had not been blowing at all, it would have been a home run. But if it had been blowing out, been up against some Budweiser sign on the other side of Waveland Avenue. Speaking of Budweiser, Jim Nally, a good friend of Ray Knoll of Budweiser here today. And Don Easter with a group of 100 on the roof at Jim Murphy's. Watching the ball game. If they're smart, they're in the bar, and that's where they probably are right now. Don Eastrom of River North distributing. The big wholesale man big wholesaler for Budweiser in the near north side.
Andy Ashby, good-sized pitcher at 6'5", 190 pounds, out of Kansas City, Missouri. And he's got a much better defense behind him this year, anchored by Wally Joyner at first and Ken Caminiti at third.
Whoa, he's called him out on a pitch. Looked low, 1, 2, 3, nothing across. At the end of 1, no score.
New service to Orlando on Southwest, the low-fare airline.
America's most experienced home improvements business has a new name, Century 21 Home Improvements.
Now you can save money and time on new, energy-efficient, easy-to-clean windows from Century 21 Home Improvements.
You'll make no payments and pay no interest for 6 months after installation. See this ordinary window frame? It's screwed together, leaks like a sieve. Think of that as wasted heat, wasted air conditioning, wasted dollars.
Now our fusion welded frame. With these premium custom-fit windows, there are no leaks, so you'll save on energy bills.
And you'll save time, too, with windows that slide up with ease and tilt in for easy cleaning.
Our windows are custom-sized before they reach your home. That means installation is a snap in any season.
Century 21 Home Improvements will always be there for you. You can count on it.
Call now for a free in-home consultation, and you'll make no payments and pay no interest for 6 months after installation of installed windows. That's 1-800-335-9977.
First game of the year. I bet you're thinking of the number 90.
Well, you know, you've mentioned that before, Harry, and that'd be a nice number. I think you could do a lot of good things with 90, but you know, we got to get number 1 first. We're facing a tough ball club here today, and then when these guys leave town, you face the tough Los Angeles Dodgers. So every day is a tough challenge, and each win's a tough challenge.
Any particular disappointment to this date in spring training?
No disappointment in terms of the things that we really look at, and that's effort and intensity. We always had that. The one setback was the injury to Dave Magadan, but the good news is I think he'll be back a lot sooner than we thought.
Joyner, who was with Kansas City last year, opened the second with a soft single to right. He's on.
I was talking with Bruce Bochy before the game, and he says that despite the fact that they hit a lot of home runs in spring training, he realizes that the Padres are not going to be a power team. So although they don't have the fastest men outside of Henderson and Finley, they're going to be doing a lot of moving of the runners and a lot of hitting and running. And you might look for something here with Ausmus, who's a very good hit-and-run man and can also bunt. He's got surprising speed for a catcher.
You know, without a doubt, San Diego has the smartest catchers in baseball. Ausmus graduated from Dartmouth, and Johnson, Brian Johnson, I think it is, graduated from Stanford. Both high academic schools.
You think they'd be smart enough to get out from behind the plate? That's a tough job, Harry.
Yeah, but it's easier to make a big league ball club as a catcher than it is at any other position.
You know, you're absolutely right about that because of the scarcity of catchers. Something my father told me when I was 6 years old, and I started out as a catcher. When I got to 10, I told him, here, you keep the gear. I'm going to go to the mound.
And that's one of baseball's sad stories.
Yes. You're not kidding. It was downhill after that.
Well, wild pitch. And hits a backstop. A wild pitch, and Joyner advances a second.
No real chance for Scott Service that time. That ball hit well in front of the plate, bounced right off the chest protector of Service. We'll watch it again. He sets up outside. Jamie just holds on to the slider too long, and it bounces off the right bicep of Service. Hits the top of the screen, and on the play, Joyner moves to second. Now it's up to Ausmus, either by bunting to third or hitting the ball to the right side to get him to third base.
Ausmus came from the Rockies. As it turns out, along with Andy Ashby, who was the player to be named later. So the starting battery for the Padres, Ashby and Ausmus, figured in the same trade A good trade for San Diego. Bouncing ball. He tried to do that. Give him an E for effort. Bounced out on the first base side of the infield of Grace, enabling Joyner to advance to third. Well, there's the WGN Deluxe box, and it holds all the various important sponsors of Cubs baseball. Pepsi, Budweiser, Chrysler Plymouth. Whoa, another wild pitch, and here's the first run of the ball game. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. How about that? You talk about not you yourself making a run. How the other team can help you make the run.
Well, there's another slider and another one that just eats up service. And Jamie, with cold hands today, holding onto the ball just a little too long, guiding both those sliders into the dirt. And a gift run for the Padres, but a run nonetheless as they go up 1-0.
Here's Andujar Cedeno. Count on them 2-0 now. San Francisco got 2 off Maddox in Atlanta. But Atlanta leads 4-2 in the bottom of the 5th.
Cedeno has some surprising power for a shortstop, although last year a down year for him at 210 with just 6 home runs.
Strike called, 2-2. One nothing in favor of the Padres. Bouncing ball up the middle. Sanchez throws him out. Navarro might have just touched the ball, but Sanchez threw him out.
Let's take a look at the Montgomery Ward Bat Boy and Bat Girl today. Stephanie Meek and Stephen O'Donnell.
You know, if you spell that young lady's name Meek backwards, you get to eat them.
Yes.
E-T-E-N would be eating them.
That's what it's like in the shade today here at Wrigley Field.
Here's a pitch outside.
Actually very comfortable in the bleachers today because you have all the wind shielded. It's behind you. But the fans in the shade are experiencing weather more likely for the Chicago Bears.
Jody Reed, the second baseman, has run the count to 2 balls and a strike. 1-0 San Diego. Bouncing ball, Sanchez should throw him out, and he does. And Reed was not running. I don't know what happened. 1 run, 1 hit, nobody left. We go in the bottom of the 2nd. 1-0 San Diego.
I'm the Wayans brothers when Sean loses the spirit of Easter. Ain't no such thing as the Easter Bunny. Can Marlon convince him to keep the faith?
I seen the Easter Bunny. He left me behind these little pellets of chocolate. That wasn't chocolate.
Then, on Unhappily, Jenny's celebrating springtime with a day in the country.
I want to have a beautiful family picnic.
But is this family ready for the great outdoors?
You killed Daddy. Now can we go home?
The WB Comedy, Wednesday night on WGN.
Nice and straight now, over and down. Good job. All right.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here.
Your best friends share your point of view. Shouldn't your truck go where you want to go? Go for a Sonoma. For a limited time, get the lease deal you've been waiting for on a new Sonoma at your Chicagoland and Northern Indiana GMC dealers.
Testing for your love.
The love king. Can't get enough of your love, babe. I love you, man.
I love your style.
For the great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light.
I had it right in my hand. You saw it.
Robert's leaving the kids for a romantic getaway. The Parenthood.
Wednesday at 7:30 on WGN Channel 9.
Down on the field with Ryan Sandberg and Rhino, you're back. It's been a while, and you have to have some jitters on opening day.
Oh, absolutely. That's all part of opening day. And, if I didn't have the jitters, then I wouldn't be standing here in a Cubs uniform today. So, the butterflies will be there. And, I think once I take the field and get out there and doing what I do, then everything will calm down. And then I'll get down to work and try and help us win a game today.
Are you pleased with everything that happened during the spring?
Absolutely. I feel fine physically and mentally, and just ready to go. Felt like I had one of my better springs. Just hit the ball well and got my body into shape for the long year, so everything's fine.
Harry Caray back at Wrigley Field. Sammy Sosa. 1 strike and nothing. Boo, look out. High and inside.
It's a nice way to pitch, especially to a power hitter. You throw the curveball over the outside corner, you get him looking outside, then you move him back off the plate. Inside, outside is the way most guys try to work Sammy, who is enormously strong.
Bouncing ball, that ought to be easy. Cedeno over the first. 1 away. Rick Sutcliffe, the former great pitching star of the Cubs. Tony Colosimo, who replaced Jake Finley as the manager in charge of sports sales for WGN TV, out in the right field bleachers. 1 out. Here's Gonzalez.
You're trying to defend Louie. You defend him right up the middle, and if you're Rickey Henderson, you worry about Gonzalez going to left or left center.
There's a curveball in there, a strike call. Boy, oh boy.
There's a look at Rickey, one of the better left fielders around.
Swung fouled it back. I'm looking down, and I see Ashby throwing bullets. Ausmus giving him signals behind the plate. And both these guys were acquired in a trade. One of them thought so little of Ashby, they named him later, like a throw-in.
Well, Harry, it turned out to be one of the great trades that Randy Smith made. He was then the general manager, and he went to the Rockies. And he got them, along with Doug Bockler, who was also on this team, for Greg Harris and Bruce Hurst, both of them long gone from Colorado. Turned out to be a great trade for the Padres.
So there's 2 on. Here's Service, who hit .286 with 12 homers for the Cubs a year ago after hitting only .225 with 1 homer for Houston the first part of the year.
That'll be the key for Ashby. If he continues to get the first ball breaking ball over the plate, he's going to be mighty tough to hit. And it was about 1.5 to 2 years ago when Ashby finally harnessed his control. He always had a great arm.
High pop foul into the stand. Capacity crowd on hand. A lot of Cub blue in evidence. that looks like Arnie Jr. One of Arnie's special hat shots. There's a high fly ball, easy out. Coming in is Finley. And that retires the side again. 1, 2, 3. And at the end of 2, San Diego's still leading 1-0.
Ordinary credit cards charge interest from the moment you buy something, if you carry a balance as little as $1.
I didn't know that.
It's true. But the Optima True Grace card from American Express doesn't. So you could save money by switching to the Optima True Grace card. I can? Yes, you can. Apply now and you'll also get a special low introductory rate of just 7.9% for 12 months. And there's no annual fee, so you'll save even more. Start saving on interest charges. Don't delay. Call for your Optima True Grace card from American Express. Remember, the Optima True Grace card is the first major credit card with an interest-free grace period, even when you carry a balance.
And that adds up to a lot of savings.
You can apply right over the phone. Call 1-800-730-8300. Stop paying interest you don't have to. Now.
Some of the most acclaimed cars in history are now on sale. Save now on all the award-winning cab-forward Chrysler sedans, sporty Cirrus, luxury family sedan Chrysler Concorde, and the elegant Chrysler LHS. Choose low APRs or low lease rates or up to $3,000 cash back. The technology of cab-forward design is now on sale.
See the bright new stars of Chicagoland at your Chrysler Plymouth dealer.
When the Twins take Ray's brand new car to a party, Ray's gonna pop his cottontail. Sister, sister!
Wednesday at 7 on WGN Channel 9.
Harry Caray with Steve Stone and Wayne Larrivee as we go into the top of the third with Alan Ashby, who started the game pitching 2 perfect innings. There's Ben Stein, and with his daughter Carol there. Ben's been convalescing for a while. Glad to see him at the ballpark. 1 ball, 1 strike. Bouncing ball, Sandberg throws him out. 1 away.
Rhino gets a good hand on his first chance. And a big crowd here today, a sellout crowd featuring, among others, Bill McSkimming of Riverfront Chrysler Plymouth and Ira Rosenberg of Crystal Lake Chrysler Plymouth.
Hey, is our man Abraham down in the den seats down there? Nah. 1 out, nobody on. Here's Rickey Henderson, was called out on strikes. His first time up. Pitch is high. You know, Rickey Henderson, there's a fly ball. Going out is Sanchez. Looked for a moment like I had a chance to drop. I was going to tell you that Henderson is tied with Pop Hansen for runs scored. 1,719 runs scored. That's tied for 18th place among all-time Major League ball players.
I like Henderson's chances of catching him.
1 strike and nothing, 2 out, nobody on.
You always have to watch the bunt with Finley. He's very good at it.
Strike called. And he's ahead of him 0-2. The only run scored when Joyner hit a soft single to right. Advance on Ausmus's ground ball to Grace, which moved him to third after he advanced to second on a wild pitch. And he scored from third on the second wild pitch of the inning.
There's a look at
Navarro.
Bruce Bochy, whose contract was extended with an option through 1997.
Here's the Aflac trivia question. Which Cubs starter had the longest outing in his first appearance last season? My guess would be Foster.
And I'll go with Castillo.
2 out, nobody on. Hey, fouled it back. Had a good cut at that. Tony Gwynn waiting on deck. He doubled to left his first time up. Boy, what a hitter. He was drafted by San Diego in the 3rd round back in '81. Swings and he strikes him out. Finley goes down swinging. 1, 2, 3. We're going to bottom of the 3rd, 1-0, Padres.
bottled lightning and learn why lightning strikes where it does. It's the world at your fingertips at Science Carnival, now playing at the Nature Museum of the Chicago Academy of Sciences through June 16th at North Pier.
How librarian Harriet Cosby eats a Reese's peanut butter cup.
I eat them as quietly as I can.
There's no wrong way to eat a Reese's.
I've cut it 3 times a week, but never too low. I've watered it, I've fed it, I've talked to it. Careers will be made on it. It does not fear the occasional weed or the suicide squeeze. They will spit on it, but they will wear it home. This is my yard, and you can play on it if you're good enough.
True Value, a proud sponsor of opening day and yards everywhere.
If a Cub player hits a homer today, write the distance, date, and your name. Send it to WGN. You can win tickets to any Southwest Airlines destination. Bringing Chicago to your computer. WGN TV on the web. www.wgntv.com.
Harry Caray back at Wrigley Field as we go in the bottom of the third with Jose Hernandez, who hit .245 last year, had a good spring this year, 13 homers, 40 RBIs a year ago. I want to send good wishes for a happy recovery to my old friend Frank Versalati in Joliet. That's where I broke in the radio. And Frank Versalati was an outstanding basketball player on the Joliet Junior College basketball team. Give well wishes to John McSherry, who's a father-in-law of P.J. McCarthy, vice president of Pepsi-Cola. And also greetings to Bob Walter of Des Plaines, former classmate of the great Phil Cavaretta. Swung and he missed. And birthday greetings to Helen Lowry from Nevada. Speaking of Nevada, my good friend Bill Sullivan probably watching the game in Las Vegas. 2-2. Inside ball 3. And also our good friend Phil Diaguati. Great baseball fans, originally out of Chicago. Looper in this right field base hit. Hernandez singles to right.
Well, there was a great battle. Who's going to start at third base? And Hernandez got the nod over Leo Gomez. And he delivers an inside-out swing on a high fastball. And that's the first Cub hit of 1996. Watch it again as Hernandez, with that inside-out swing, dumps it in front of Tony Gwynn. And a good start to the third inning. The Cubs enter down 1-0. From the Southwest Plainview camera, we'll take a look at Hernandez on the initial hit of this 1996 campaign.
Here's Ray Sanchez taking a breaking ball for a strike call. Greetings to Marianne Cornelius of Antigo, Wisconsin.
Caminiti thinking that Sanchez is going to bunt in very close to third.
The Cardinals walloping the Mets. There goes a runner. Here's the play again. It's a stolen base. He had a good jump, and Ausmus did not make a good throw. It was over to the shortstop side of second base. Jody Reed had to go over beyond the bag.
Well, you don't expect Hernandez to do much running, but this serves notice that Jim Riggleman's going to be a lot more aggressive this year.
Good lead by Hernandez. A high pop foul gonna be out of play. Hey, our governor is here.
Hello, Harry.
I know you're a Cub fan.
Yeah.
We need a good Cub year.
Well, I think you're off to a good start. Beautiful day.
Yeah, it certainly is that.
If the wind had been blowing out instead of in, we'd have had a little more score.
Sandberg certainly would have had a home run.
It's been a great way to start it, but it's going to be a good year.
Do I ask you about politics, or do we
No, let's talk about baseball. That's safer.
What's going on? A lot of tough decisions as usual, huh?
Yeah, last year we were here. We had Bob Dole with me, but this year he just got stuck with me.
Yeah. Well, you know, there's a drive way back, left center field, way back, gonna be caught. The wind holds the ball up. But here comes Hernandez, tagging up and advancing to third. And so, boy, the wind has worked against the Cubs twice.
We need a change in the wind.
Good piece of base running by Jose Hernandez. When he realizes that Finley is going to make the catch, he tags up at second base, heads on to third. Good play by Finley and good base running by Hernandez.
Well, Governor, you must have a lot of longies on.
I have my long underwear on. I've learned. I've been to enough Cub openers. You dress for a football game.
Yeah. How's that lovely wife of yours?
She's fine. She's here watching the game, too.
Give her my best.
I will. I will.
Good seeing you, sir.
Good to see you again, Harry, and good luck. We'll look forward to seeing you in the playoffs.
All right, thank you. Bye-bye. All right, one out. The infield is in. The tying run at third. And Navarro's the hitter. Does Andy... The squeeze is on, and
Navarro missed
the sign because he was swinging, and Hernandez is probably thanking the good Lord above that he didn't get hurt.
Well, the most surprised man in the ballpark, Jose Hernandez, as he's coming down the line, Jamie Navarro swinging away. And when you're hung out to dry by that much, you just hope that the ball is fouled or missed.
Cardinals leading in New York 6-0. Tony La Russa making his debut as manager of the Cardinals. Swings, fouls it off. Navarro not a bad hitter for a pitcher. Let's pause for identification.
Tomorrow morning at 6:30.
One ball, two strikes. One out runner at third. Padres leading 1-0. Bouncing foul.
Well, if you're on the mound now, you've got to trust your catcher because a good pitch here is a breaking ball in the dirt. But you have to have a lot of confidence if you're Andy Ashby and Brad Ausmus. You figure that Navarro has to be anxious. You're ahead 1-2. Let's see what Ausmus calls as he's looking in the dugout to see what Bruce Bochy might want.
Oh, for a little looper somewhere. The infield is in, you know. Struck him out on a terrible pitch. And a nice save by Brad Ausmus, who went to his knees to keep the ball from getting away. And now here is Brian McRae.
Well, there's the hard breaking ball you're looking for with two strikes and the pitcher up. And Ausmus went down, made a nice play to make sure that Hernandez stays at third.
Look where Ken Caminiti plays McRae, even though there's two out. Shallow. In the event of a bunt. It's a little bit low. Now McRae doesn't hit the ball down to third baseline often. Strike call, and the count is evened up. There's Gary Barnett, the great coach of Northwestern. What a year the Wildcats had, and what a sensational job he did. Strike two call, and Ashby throwing hard. Here's the answer to the Aflac question. Jamie Navarro, 7 innings against Montreal.
Well, we started the same way we ended last year, Harry, both wrong.
There'll be a lot of those. I mean, us being wrong. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out. 1-0, Padres. McRae on a 2-2 count. Tying run at third. Did he hold up? Yeah, oh no, he went around to retire the side. No runs, 1 hit, 1 left. Wayne Larrivee will be coming along in a moment. Harry Caray from Wrigley Field, where at the end of 3, the Padres won, the Cubs nothing.
I remember it like it was yesterday. I was hosting my first big business dinner, and I paid with my Visa card. Turns out I was over my limit. I was so embarrassed, I didn't know what to do. So I got the American Express card, and it never happened again.
Call 1-800-THE-CARD. We can take your application right over the phone.
Applying for the card was one of the easiest things I've ever done, and smartest. And anyone who's ever gone anywhere knows it. I have a place to cash checks, get my mail, and get help when I need it.
My dad said the minute you get a job, get an American Express card. He said, trust me on this one. I've gone everywhere with it. And here's a tip. Sign up for membership rewards, and everything you charge on the card will earn you program points, so you can keep on traveling.
So call now for the American Express card. You can apply right over the phone.
It's really worth it.
It helped not having a preset limit.
I got cash on the go.
I can call 24 hours a day. That helps.
Go anywhere, and it's with you all the way.
Don't delay. Just dial 1-800-THE-CARD.
Hey, kid, what's the celebration about?
Fun fairs. Yeah, fun fairs.
Oh, you mean Southwest Airlines Fun Fares from $29, huh?
Exactly. Hey, use a coaster.
And you can fly to lots of fun Southwest places, right?
Oh, yeah, lots of places.
So where are you going?
Nowhere. My folks already left.
Right. Southwest Airlines Fun Fares from $29. It's your chance to get away. You might want to call before you come home.
This is WGN-TV, Chicago.
Well, the bleachers are filled on opening day here at Wrigley Field. 2 pitchers in command, Jamie Navarro and Andy Ashby, and Ashby has been outstanding in these first 3 innings.
And the only thing separating these 2 clubs, a couple of wild pitches by Jamie Navarro. Outside of that, you're right, Wayne. The pitchers far ahead of the hitters on very much a pitcher's day today.
Yeah, not surprised. The wind is blowing in at cold temperatures. Tony Gwynn leading off here in the top of the 4th inning, and Jamie Navarro, first pitch strike.
I know you're surprised that Tony Gwynn started out with a double. He's only in pursuit of his 7th batting title. He figures to be a tough out every time up.
No question about it. San Diego much improved. The Cubs looking to pick up on last season's late season rush toward the playoffs.
Counted 1-1 as Jamie Navarro taking a little time as a beach ball has gotten away in the right field corner.
Jamie throwing hard today. And he's ahead in the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Jamie throwing awfully hard, and trying to strike out Tony Gwynn is a good trick. He fanned just 15 times last year in 535 at-bats. Perennially one of the most difficult, if not the most difficult man to strike out in the major leagues.
Jamie surrendered a run on a couple of hits here in the first 3 innings of the game. We're in the top of the 4th. A little bit high, to say the least. 2-2.
Very rarely will you see Tony Gwynn ever swing at anything out of the strike zone. And if he does, it's usually low, but he usually makes some contact.
The 2-2 pitch, and he jammed him, bloops it into left field. Gonzalez is there, and he makes the catch. 1 out to start the inning.
The biggest improvement on wins last year, and the Cubs are at least on the leaderboard. You see it right there. Cleveland, Boston, California, Seattle. And the first National League team you see, the Cubs, along with the Padres. Cubs improved 24 wins over the year before, the Padres 23.
Ken Caminiti, the hitter, takes pitch outside.
Wayne, you've got to love what this San Diego team did with the addition of Rickey Henderson and Wally Joyner. They really helped themselves defensively as well as with the bat.
You know, you guys showed the graphic earlier at the top of the show of the defense of San Diego and all the gold gloves in that defense. Now, this is a much improved defensive team from the team we saw just 2 years ago on the field for San Diego. That trade with Houston really helped solidify this club. And as Harry mentioned a couple of times in the first 3 innings of the game, the Ashby trade. He was a throw-in with that deal with Colorado involving Bruce Hurst a couple of seasons ago, and that has made a difference today. Starting battery netted from that trade. There's a drive into center field. McRae on his horse and makes the grab.
Ryan McRae played outstanding center field all year long last year. And this play, no exception. Just a fine effort by McRae. Gets a great jump on this line drive. This ball is scalded. McRae able to pull it down. That would have been 3 bases for sure. Nobody would have been able to get to the ball. McRae would have been sprawled out, and that one would have rattled around for quite some time.
Wally Joyner is the difference in this game. Singled on a soft liner to right field and advanced on a couple of wild pitches, scoring the first run of the game. 1 ball, no strikes. And that's on the inside corner for strike 1 call.
Joyner had a quality year last year, hitting .310 for Kansas City. He hit just 12 home runs, but he drove in 83.
Navarro gets the outside corner, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Wind blowing in. It is a cold day on the lakefront, but sunny. It's a whole lot better than we thought it would be yesterday. Pitch misses outside. It's 2-2. There's Fergie Jenkins.
Fergie had his pitching staff much improved last year.
Billy Williams, the hitting coach, has seen a few Cubs openers, along with our producer-director, Arnie Harris. Joyner's worked the count to 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Never hurts to have a few Hall of Famers in that dugout. Fergie Jenkins and Billy Williams among them.
The payoff, and that misses low, and Wally Joyner on for the 2nd time this afternoon.
Cub fans, plenty of good seats available for every game this homestand, including this weekend versus the Los Angeles Dodgers. And every adult attending Wednesday or Thursday's game versus the Padres receives a Cubs magnet schedule. For tickets, stop by the Wrigley Field box office, any Ticketmaster Ticket Center, or call 312-831-CUBS.
The hitter is Brad Ausmus, the catcher, grounded out to first. His initial trip to the plate. Joyner gets the lead off first base, and the pitch is up high. Unlike Ashby, Steve, Jamie's been behind to the count more often than not. Fewer first ball strikes from Navarro than we've seen from Ashby.
And normally, Jamie has just outstanding control.
1 ball, 1 strike to count on Ausmus. Brooks Kieschnick. Tell you what, you may see him for a couple of weeks here, and he might be back down in Iowa by the end of the month, but you're going to see a lot of this guy in a Cubs uniform in the future. Held up pretty well, I thought, this spring. Hit about 277, couple of homers. 1 ball, 1 strike to count. And this one out of play, and it's 1-2.
Brooks told me on a scale of 1 to 10 and how he's feeling right now would be an 11. Yes. He said he's just happy to be here. He didn't believe he had any chance to make the ball club out of spring training. But the injury to Magadan really changed things around as far as the Cubs were concerned, and Kieschnick getting an early look from the Cubs.
Well, what helps him is that he swings from the left side, and the Cubs need another left-handed bat on the roster. 1-2 pitch, and again the count remains 1-2 as Ausmus late on getting around against Jamie Navarro. This a typical scene. Kevin Foster flipping a baseball in the dugout between starts. I'll tell you what, Stoney, the way the Cubs can improve this year, just with the people they have now, are taking more walks, number 1 offensively, count 2-2 now, and getting improvement out of A, Steve Traxel, B, Kevin Foster, and C, Jim Bullinger having a consistent season, much like he did the first half of last year. That's the way this ball club can improve. And, you know, also situation hitting, moving runners along, that type of thing. 2-2 pitch. On the outside corner, called strike 3. No runs, no hits. No errors, and a man left. Bottom of the 4th coming up. Padres still lead 1-0.
payback time for the Bulls against Pat Riley and the Heat.
Bulls Heat, Thursday night at 7 on WGN. Touch bottled lightning and learn why lightning strikes where it does. It's the world at your fingertips at Science Carnival, now playing at the Nature Museum of the Chicago Academy of Sciences through June 16th at North Pier.
I've cut it 3 times a week, but never too low. I've watered it, I've fed it, I've talked to it. Careers will be made on it. It does not fear the occasional weed or the suicide squeeze. They will spit on it, but they will wear it home. This is my yard, and you can play on it if you're good enough.
True Value, a proud sponsor of opening day and yards everywhere.
Bringing Chicago to your computer. WGN TV on the web. www.wgntv.com.
Welcome back, Rhino, indeed. Opening day 1996 at Wrigley Field in Chicago, along with our producer-director, Harry Caray, our erstwhile Hall of Famer, Steve Stone, our Cy Young Award winner, Wayne Larrivee, and, of course, our producer-director, Arnie Harris. Good to have you with us. A sunshiny but chilly day at Wrigley Field. Andy Ashby loosening up. He faces Ryan Sandberg, Mark Grace, and Sammy Sosa.
I talked with Bruce Bochy before the game on just exactly what he wants out of Ashby today, and he said his longest stint in spring training was 100 pitches. He feels today, with all the adrenaline and everything he's got going for him, he could probably go 110, 115 pitches. That could get him at least through 7, maybe longer if the Cubs aren't a little more patient. But Ashby, as you mentioned, Wayne, is throwing a lot of strike ones, especially with the breaking ball early in the count.
8 first pitch strikes in the first 3 innings for Ashby. And Sandberg flew out deep to left center his first trip to the plate. That's ball 1 inside. Take a look at this in season openers. A long history here. On the outside corner, count is 1-1.
Well, Sandberg wants to hit something middle of the plate in, and he got it the first time up and just got under it, and the wind kept it in the ballpark.
Yeah, he hit a 2-1 pitch that time. On the ground, left side. That's Ken Caminiti, the Gold Glove at third. 1 out.
Caminiti had a terrible early season defensively last year. He made 21 errors by the All-Star break, and here's a man who is regarded as good a fielder as there is in the game. He says he's just ecstatic to get out of Arizona and back on some fields that aren't rock hard and lightning fast.
The hitter, Mark Grace, called out on strikes his first trip to the plate. Fell behind with a count 0-2 before working at 2-2, and he lines a shot to right field. Tony Gwynn makes the move on it to his left and hauls it in. So Grace, first pitch, 2 out.
A lot of people almost conceding the title in the West to the Dodgers, but the Padres not among them. They feel that if they can get some consistent starting pitching, they feel they have a strong enough bullpen, a wonderful bench, and a good enough offense to be able to contend. And there you look at Andy Ashby, the wonderful year he had in '95, his ERA below 3, the 12 wins, and 3rd in the National League in the ERA title race.
Sammy Sosa down to the count, no balls and 1 strike. Rounded out short to first, his first trip. If they had not realigned the league last year, this is how it would have looked. How about that? The Cubs would have won a division. Atlanta would have been over in the West. 1 ball, 1 strike. Padres, Stoney, would figure to be a tired team. They played last Thursday in Peoria, Arizona. San Diego Friday. Las Vegas on Saturday. They played Memphis, Tennessee yesterday. And today, Chicago.
Well, if anything can pick you up, it's the adrenaline of opening day. So although they'll probably be a little road weary. Today, it's not going to affect him.
Here's the 2-1. Sammy even in the count of 2-2.
Now let's see if Ashby goes with a good hard slider here away from Sosa. Ausmus has called a very good game behind the plate. You see very rarely will Ashby shake him off. And Ashby does have a good hard slider today. He's a 4-pitch pitcher, his slider being a little bit better than the curveball, but his best pitch, a good solid fastball in the low 90s.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out, bases empty. Back toward the box. Barehanded by Ashby. And a 1-2-3 inning. Nothing across. We're heading to the 5th. Still, the Padres 1 and the Cubs nothing.
Chicago Cubs baseball on WGN is brought to you by the Stars of Chicagoland, your local Chrysler Plymouth dealers.
America's most experienced home improvements business has a new name. Century 21 Home Improvements.
Installed premium vinyl siding from Century 21 Home Improvements means you'll never paint again.
No more paying painters, no more do-it-yourself,
And
no more scraping.
never again. Not with vinyl siding.
Call now and you'll make no payments and pay no interest for 6 months after installation. Premium vinyl siding is virtually maintenance-free. Won't peel or chip, rot or warp.
Won't dent either.
Whether your home is wood, brick, or stucco, look what siding can do. Works great for eaves and overhangs, too. Choose from a wide range of colors, all with this exclusive wood grain texture that's scratch-proof.
Call now for a free in-home consultation. We'll always be there for you.
You can count on it.
Call now for a free in-home consultation, and you'll make no payments and pay no interest for 6 months after installation of installed siding. Call 1-800-429-5858.
There were 2 times when we wanted our customers to really appreciate the new Chrysler Sebring convertible. Day and night. We literally redefined the convertible from the ground up.
Of course, sunny skies and starry nights aren't the only reasons to own this car.
It's quieter than you'd expect.
Cab forward provides more interior room as well as a more stable ride.
It truly is a car that gives you the sun, the moon,
and an actual back seat.
See the bright new stars of Chicagoland at your Chrysler Plymouth dealer.
Reuse stuff today. Reduce garbage tomorrow.
Wayne Larrivee, Steve Stone, Harry Caray at Wrigley Field opening day here in Chicago. Andujar Cedeno, Jody Reed, Andy Ashby, the lower third of the Padre order to face Jamie Navarro. 1 ball, no strikes on Cedeno, who grounded out his first trip. Takes it inside and tight. Did he go around on it? Nope. 2 balls and no strikes. Well, you know, when the wind's blowing in, you wear what you have to wear. You dress for football. Or maybe Valley Forge in January. 2-0 pitch. Lined into left center field. That's a base hit.
And this is exactly what you were saying, Wayne, about Navarro falling behind early in the count. That almost forces you to throw a 2-0 fastball, and Cedeno, who had an abysmal year last year, took advantage of a 2-0 fastball and drove it into left center field.
Here's last year's starters in double figures with victories and a combined 4.35 ERA. Now, the last time that was done for the Cubs back in 1975, and there's old Steve Stone there with 12 wins.
Those were, of course, that was the dead ball era, though, Wayne.
Yes.
The ball just didn't travel that much.
Jody Reed looks at ball 1, down low.
Reed, a good contact hitter. You might think about the hit and run in this situation, even with Ashby due up next.
You know, I'll tell you something. You look at this lineup, and I was talking to Bruce Bochy, the manager of the Padres, before the game today. They've got a lot of good contact hitters in this lineup. They don't have a tremendous amount of power, as you mentioned earlier, Stone, even though they hit some home runs down at spring training. Runner going, swing and a miss, and the throw down to second base on the wrong side of the bag. Sanchez unable to apply the tag in time. Ausmus Cedeno in with a stolen base.
And there's the hit and run situation. Only Reed made no contact, but they do steal the bag as the throw off target. You see Sanchez making a fine effort at second base. And the tip off to the hit and run is you see Cedeno looking back to see if there's contact. He beats the play. And Sanchez scooping the ball out of the dirt, trying for the quick tag at second. Gary Darling on the call, and you can see he did beat the play.
Count of 1 ball and 1 strike now on Jody Reed. Chopped it on the ground to the right side. This moves the runner to third. Sandberg to Grace in time to retire Reed with Cedeno moving on to third.
We've seen the Padres do that a couple of times. Ausmus did it in the 2nd inning, and now Reed does it here in the 5th. That's good, solid baseball. Having to make contact, hitting the ball to the right side when you have the opportunity. And now it forces the infield in at all 4 positions. The Cubs missed the sign on a suicide. Let's see what Bruce Bochy has in mind with Ashby up, who's a fairly decent hitter.
Ashby, second in the majors with 17 sacrifice bunts last year, so the infield beware, and it's in. Cedeno off third, and the first pitch misses away. 1 ball, no strikes to Ashby.
And every run today, a big run with the cold temperatures and the wind blowing in, although the wind has died down somewhat.
Cedeno, the lead off at third. And the pitch. Ashby not offering it. It's 2 balls and no strikes.
Well, Ashby at 6'5", a big target. But the low strike, at least for the moment, not being called by Jim Quick. As Navarro has fallen behind 2-0, and Rickey Henderson in the on-deck circle.
Been a lot of discussion about the strike zone in spring training as to whether they would call that strike just below the knees. 2-0 delivery, runner going, the bunt out in front of the plate, and it's a good one. They score the run. Navarro's only play is to Grace. Cedeno scores, and the Padres lead it by the score of 2-0.
Well, this time the suicide has worked to perfection, and the Padres have executed flawlessly. Good timing on the part of Cedeno, and there's no chance for Navarro. He picks it up. Cedeno already a step away, only play to first base, and we'll watch it again. Timing is everything on this play. Then it comes down to execution on the part of the man bunting, and they execute perfectly.
Now you see Scott Service directing his pitcher, go to first. We don't have a chance here at the plate. Top of the order, Rickey Henderson. That's a strike call. Henderson 0 for 2, struck out. In the first, he popped out to shortstop. Shallow left field in the third. 1 ball, 1 strike. Steve, in the cold weather like this, if you're a couple of power pitchers like Navarro and Ashby, is this good weather? I mean, do these guys like throwing in this kind of weather as opposed to heat? Broken back grounder to the third baseman. Hernandez to Grace, and the inning is over. Get back to that point when we resume. Bottom of the 5th coming up. Padres score a run on a hit. They leave the bases clean. Middle of the 5th, Gonzalez, Service, and Henderson ahead.
Ordinary credit cards charge interest from the moment you buy something, if you carry a balance as little as $1.
I didn't know that.
It's true. But the Optima True Grace card from American Express doesn't. So you could save money by switching to the Optima True Grace card. I can? Yes, you can. Apply now and you'll also get a special low introductory rate of just 7.9% for 12 months. And there's no annual fee, so you'll save even more. Start saving on interest charges. Don't delay. Call for your Optima True Grace card from American Express. Remember, the Optima True Grace card is the first major credit card with an interest-free grace period, even when you carry a balance.
And that adds up to a lot of savings.
You can apply right over the phone. Call 1-800-730-8300. Stop paying interest you don't have to. Now.
Robert's leaving the kids for a romantic getaway. The Parenthood.
Wednesday at 7:30 on WGN Channel 9.
Still waiting for those Cubs bats to warm up. Astros are off in the division, and the Padres lead by the score of 2-0.
Wayne, you mentioned who does it favor when it's this cold? It really favors a power pitcher because you don't need as much touch with your fingertips on a fastball as you do with a curveball. So the guys that are primarily curveball pitchers in weather like this will find themselves hanging a few more pitches and not getting the feeling that they need, although the umpires have given both pitchers the okay to blow into their hands even on the mound, which on a normal day is a no-no, but on a day like today, you can do it. But the power pitcher has a big advantage, especially if he likes to stay inside and run the ball in on the hands. Your hands can start buzzing, and it might affect you in a bat later.
Gonzalez swings and fouls it back. I mentioned the Astros. They are leading the Dodgers now, 1-0, bottom of the third inning in Houston. Everybody talking about the Astros as being one of the favorites for the Central Division title. Maybe the most solid team throughout. 1 ball, 1 strike to count. Gonzalez 0 for 1. Struck out swinging in the second. 1 hit for the Cubs is all she's written so far. That just missed inside. It is a beautiful, crisp, cool day in the spring outside the friendly confines. Into right center field, and Finley shades his eyes, makes the catch, 1 man down.
Cub fans, enjoy Cub baseball at Wrigley Field from the finest seats in the house with a mezzanine suite at Wrigley Field. Renting a mezzanine suite provides your clients with an unforgettable experience that they will forever associate with your company, and suites are available for every game this season. For information on renting a Cubs mezzanine suite, call 312-404-CUBS.
The hitter, Scott Service, tried to check his swing, went around, and it's strike 1.
Service showed last year that he can drive the ball to right center field. That had been a problem in years past. He would hit the ball middle in, but when the pitchers would stay away, he'd have some problems. Let's see if he continues that trend this year if Ashby does stay away.
Takes it a little bit high. Hey, how about that? That's a nice vantage point there across the street. Ladies, don't lean too far forward. It's a big drop to the bottom, isn't it? 1-1 pitch. That's lined towards center field. Finley right there makes the catch. So 2 outs to the center fielder, Steve Finley, and it brings up Jose Hernandez. I know it's cold, but that's a bit much, isn't it, Santa Claus, at this time of year? I suppose it could always snow here in Chicago right up through June, can't it?
It's very possible, though.
Got that lake effect.
It's supposed to warm up tomorrow.
Yes. We're off tomorrow.
Yes.
You're hoping it will warm up tomorrow, in other words. 1 ball, no strikes to count on Jose Hernandez. Hernandez singled as the only hit of the game for the Cubs, a single to right field. And 2 balls, no strikes. Earmuffs in vogue here at Wrigley Field, along with the Dennis Rodman look in the sunglasses. Kind of like that. And it's the first time that Ashby has fallen behind a hitter. 3 balls and no strikes. 2 out, nobody on. Bottom of the 5th. 2-0. Padres on top. It's on the outside corner. Strike 1 call.
Well, you figure to get a fastball here, and Hernandez, who has very good power, will be trying to take advantage of.
The 3-1. Fouled it back against the screen, and the count fills to 3-2. You know, the thing about Ashby is, in his career, 2 general managers, Steve, known for their ability to evaluate talent, have given up on him. Lee Thomas in Philadelphia, where Ashby was first in his career, and then Bob Gephardt in Colorado made the trade with San Diego that we talked about earlier.
I think Lee Thomas would love to have him back with the pitching problems that they've experienced in Philadelphia.
A dearth of pitching in Philadelphia. 3-2 pitch. That's ball 4. The first walk of the ball game issued by Ashby. So Hernandez aboard for the second time this afternoon with 2 outs, and Ray Sanchez, who flied out to center field, a hard drive to center. In the 3rd, steps to the plate. We're in the bottom of the 5th at Wrigley Field on opening day. A little bit high. 1 ball, no strikes. Well, there it is, Steve. You and Harry ought to get along in one of those, huh? Instead of the limo, what do you say?
Well, when Ernie re-upped, he asked for a limo, and there it is.
This is what he got.
The Harris limo.
Oh, my goodness. I've heard of the Flying Elvises, but how about the Flying Colonels? Colonel Sanders. I wonder if they brought any chicken with them. The toss over to first base to chase Hernandez back to the bag. Ashby admitted earlier in his career that he used to try to do too much with his stuff, and he's always had great stuff.
I think
it's in there for a strike, and it's 1-1.
What he tried to do, Wayne, was throw the ball through the catcher. He had such a great arm that he tried to overthrow everything. Consequently, he fell behind, and he just couldn't find the strike zone. But last year, he found the strike zone consistently, and it translated into the third best ERA in the National League.
1 ball, 1 strike. Hernandez, good lead off first, and the pitch is rocketed deep to left field. Henderson back to the warning track, to the wall. It's gone! Two-run homer, Ray Sanchez. And the game is tied at 2.
That one is pretty hard to believe if you're Ray Sanchez, who muscled up for a grand total of 3 all of last year. Takes it back just far enough to hit it out of the ballpark and tie the game at 2.
Swing and a miss by Jamie Navarro. Big welcome for a little Ray Sanchez in the dugout. How about that? And he battled the wind with that shot. No balls and 2 strikes to count on Navarro. There is Ray Sanchez. How about that? Northeast wind not going to knock down my shot.
He's giving you a Sammy. He's going to have a lot fewer opportunities to do what Sammy does, but he's got to enjoy this opportunity when he's had it. That's the 5th Major League home run for Ray Sanchez, and it couldn't have come at a better time as far as the Cubs were concerned.
Navarro, it's a fly ball into shallow center field. Finley coming on, makes the catch. A 2-out, 2-run homer by Ray Sanchez has tied the game as we head to the 6th. 2-2.
Michael Caine loves Sally Field.
I'm enormously attracted to you.
I don't make love before the first date.
Steve Gutenberg loves Sally Field.
Marry me, Daisy. You have to say yes.
I do?
You do.
But who does Sally Field love?
I feel sick.
When a love story
It was incredible.
gets this confusing,
You're a weird person, aren't you?
it's time to
Can you just stop being a hopeless romantic?
surrender. Tonight at 7 on WGN Channel 9.
You think about your house a lot. You know how to make things happen. You take pride in a job well done. You know the difference between semi-gloss and flat. You know you can do it yourself, because you know help is just around the corner.
The new Plymouth Voyager was named Automobile Magazine's All-Star Minivan for 1996. Car and Driver ranked it in their 10 best automobiles of 1996. And not only is it a favorite of the experts, but with a 3-liter, 150 horsepower V6 engine, it has 36 times the cargo space of a Porsche 911 for about a third of the price.
See the bright new stars of Chicagoland at your Chrysler Plymouth dealer.
Bringing Chicago to your computer. WGN TV on the web. www.wgntv.com.
Wayne Larrivee, Steve Stone, Harry Caray, Wrigley Field in Chicago. Ray Sanchez, a shocker of a 2-run homer with 2 out in the bottom of the 5th, has tied the game. And there is Ray out at shortstop. Top of the 6th inning, Steve Finley, Tony Gwynn, Ken Caminiti for the Padres.
Finley has fanned twice, and with no contact and 2 at-bats, you start thinking about the bunt. We'll take a look at the home run one more time. A surprisingly long home run on a hanging curveball. And for Southwest Airlines, how far did it fly? 365 happy feet into the basket.
First pitch to Finley, swings and lifts a little drive into center field, and on for it is McRae makes the catch.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Chicago National League Ball Club, which has the right of approval of the announcers and is intended solely for the private, non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or the use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the Chicago National League Ball Club is prohibited.
Tony Gwynn 1 for 2, a double in the first. No balls and 1 strike to count.
Positioning is the key, and Brian McRae, playing Finley over toward left center, comes on and puts this one away easily.
The 0-1 delivery to Gwynn. That's high. It's 1 ball to 1 strike. This guy, in terms of 300 seasons, look at that. My goodness. He's never hit below 300 in his career. 2-1.
Mike Perez starting to get loose, and this is a good day to try to keep everything loose in that bullpen.
The 2-1 pitch, and around late on that delivery. Dumped it foul into the stands down the left field line.
I would say you're looking at between 100 and 110 pitches out of both starters, and we don't have a pitch count, but Navarro probably still has an inning left in him.
The 2-2 pitch to Gwynn. That misses low, and the count fills to 3-2. Jamie last year pitched at least 7 innings in 18 of his 29 starts. He worked at least 8 innings 9 times on the season. The payoff to Gwynn. Broken back grounder to Sandberg at second. 2 out. So Tony Gwynn retired for the second time today. 1 for 3 on the afternoon against Jamie Navarro. And the hitter, Ken Caminiti.
Here's San Diego's record in road openers. 5-9. Might bode well for the Cubs today, who are over 500 in home openers.
Pitch taken inside for ball 1 by Caminiti, who's 0 for 2. He's lined out twice to third and to center.
That's the 83rd pitch by Jamie Navarro, so he's still got plenty left.
The 1-0 pitch, that's a strike. It's 1-1. And it looks like he still has good velocity.
Well, he's throwing hard. Getting inside on Tony Gwynn is testament to the fact that he does have some life on the fastball.
Too far inside there, and it's 2 balls and 1 strike. Fun of the old ballpark, especially if you're in one of those luxury boxes. She doesn't look too happy, though. 2-1 delivery. Fouled it back, and it's 2-2. Matter of fact, she looked like she received some bad news. These folks are just trying to keep warm, although I'm sure that home run by Ray Sanchez in the bottom of the last inning helped out. Put a frown on that guy's face. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and the pitch. Just missed a little bit outside. Jamie thought he had strike 3 called. So the count fills to 3-2 on Ken Caminiti. Caminiti had a big season last year offensively. And the payoff. On the ground to Sandberg. Routine 1-2-3 inning. Padres are down in the 6th. Bottom of the inning coming up. Cubs have the top of the order just ahead.
Chicago Cubs baseball on WGN is brought to you by Pepsi. Drink Pepsi, get stuffed.
Now at Red Lobster, it's Lobster Days.
Rocktail sizzle, maintail steam, so much lobster, it's a lobster dream.
Indulge in 6 luscious lobster dishes, like the incredible Lobster 3 Ways. succulent rocktail, juicy maintail, and lobster and shrimp pasta, all on one plate. Special prices, too. Better hurry.
Bud. Wine.
Alright, we're jamming. I wanna jam it with you. We're jamming, and I hope you like jamming too.
You think about your house a lot. You know how to make things happen. You take pride in a job well done. You know the difference between semi-gloss and flat. You know you can do it yourself, because you know help is just around the corner.
Robert's leaving the kids for a romantic getaway. The Parenthood.
Wednesday at 7:30 on WGN Channel 9.
2-2 tie in the bottom of the sixth. Brian McRae, top of the order, leads it off for the Cubs. Takes ball one from Andy Ashby. McRae 0 for 2, grounded out on a first pitch in the first inning. Struck out swinging in the third. Hits a ground ball to the right side. Diving stab by Joyner. Throws to Ashby, covering in time to retire McRae.
Well, the Padres know that they're going to be much better defensively with Wally Joyner at first base. They already call him the best defensive first baseman they've ever had. And there's just an illustration of it. He got up quickly. Threw to Ashby. Good timing and a fine effort by Joyner. Here's the tail end of the play, and the throw leads Ashby by a step. He touches the inside of the bag with his right foot, and that's what you want to do.
Ryan Sandberg 0 for 2. Flying out deep to left in the first. Grounded out in the fourth. Fastball strike. Rhino had a good spring. 386 on base percentage, 310 average. The 0-1 delivery, and that's outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Hey, later this week on WGN, Michael Jordan and the Bulls continue their quest towards the greatest season ever in the NBA. Don't miss the Bulls at Heat, United Center, Thursday night, 7 o'clock, WGN, Channel 9. Back to the box. Ashby gloves it to Joyner. And there are 2 men down. That brings up Mark Grace. Grace is 0 for 2. He hit the ball hard his last trip to the plate. Line drive to right field in the fourth. There's a look at the mark for the Cubs on Wrigley Field home openers. And right now, they've drawn even with these San Diego Padres. Grace a little bit late getting around on that one. No balls and 1 strike.
Last year, the Cubs split the season series here at Wrigley Field 3-3, but lost the overall season series to the Padres 7-5.
Padres were a surprising third in the National League in hitting last year, 272. Grace on the ground to Jody Reed, and a 1-2-3 inning for Andy Ashby. Nothing across for the Cubs. We've completed 6 at Wrigley Field. Harry will take you the rest of the way. The Cubs and Padres tied at 2.
Service to Orlando on Southwest, the low-fare airline.
Hurry in for the lawn and garden sale at Menards. Find spring savings on outdoor furniture from Sunbeam. The Legacy set comes with 4 padded chairs and glass table, just $174.95. Put a beautiful finish on all types of wood with Minwax polyurethane. It dries quickly for long-lasting protection. Now $11.89 a gallon after rebate. Bring out the best with Minwax from Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
When the Twins take Ray's brand new car to a party, Ray's gonna pop his cottontail. Sister, sister!
Wednesday at 7 on WGN Channel 9.
Sometimes you feel like a nut. Sometimes you don't. Almond Joy's got nuts. Mounds don't.
Because
Sometimes you feel like, sometimes you...
Men, is gray hair sneaking up on you, right under your nose?
it is sneaking up on me. Here, too.
You need Just for Men gel. Brush in, and in 5 minutes, rinse.
It's the sure thing for a natural look.
Just for Men gel.
Oh, boy. Holy cow, what a ball game. Imagine Sanchez hitting a home run.
Well, he had 3 last year, and he saved it up. Power from an unusual source, Harry, but the game is tied at 2, and it might just wind up in the hands of the bullpen.
It certainly is a well-pitched, well-played game, so let's hold them, hold them, hold them. Oh. Big crowd really enjoying this one. 1 ball, 1 strike. Wally Joyner. Bob Chandler, the San Diego television man, who's been doing the television there for a lot of years. Here's a hot smash. Nice play by Sandberg. 1 away.
Hasn't taken Jamie Navarro long to realize that you can certainly depend on that right side with Sandberg and Grace. Sandberg has got the last 3 balls hit to him in succession. This play to his left, he makes it easily and retires Joyner.
What Chandler was saying was what you pointed out before, how similar the 2 first basemen are. Grace for the Cubs, Joyner for the Padres. What down, nobody on. Fly ball foul. Brad Ausmus. Hey, Coach, how are you? Good to see you.
Harry.
Gary Barnett. How great should I say you are? Yeah, you're greater than whatever you say. What a job you did.
Appreciate it, Harry. It all started down at your restaurant that night, you know?
Nobody believes me when I tell them I used to broadcast when you were playing in Missouri.
That's right. You know, I grew up listening to you every night when you were broadcasting for the Cardinals. Every night.
I've gotten no better after all these years either.
You're still as good.
Hey, listen. Everybody now, you did what you did last year. You became the talk of the nation. What are you going to do for an encore?
Do it again. Only win it this time.
Well, maybe you still want it. What's going to happen with that controversy about the players?
I don't know what's going to happen. I know that from our end of it, we'll, maybe it'll go out in history that we won it, but we're not going to accept that trophy. We'll go get it next year and get 2 of them.
Yeah. Apparently, your offense is going to be okay. You're worried about your defense.
From the...
There's a fly ball, should be caught. 2 away. And Ausmus flies to McRae. 2 gone.
Actually, Harry, I think we've got a number of really good young athletes to take those spots. They just don't have any experience. I'm more concerned about the experience than I am necessarily trying to replace the talent level.
You know, I'd rather like to talk to you more about football, but I got to do a ball game.
Yeah, you got a day job to do here.
Good to see you, Gary.
Thank you, Harry.
Good. Here's a ground ball. 1, 2, 3. And we go in the bottom of the 7th. The score's tied up 2-2. And hits into this crowd. First, you got to put this Northwestern football cap on. Here's Coach Barnett from Northwestern. All right, let me hear you. A 1, a 2, a 3. Take me out to the ball game.
Take me out to the game.
Get back, oh, it's root. Root for the Cubs. It's the old ball game. Hey!
For the great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light.
This just in, WKTL Weather Watch reports a possibility of snow today.
Next time, check the Weather Channel for early warnings on weather conditions 24 hours a day. The Weather Channel. No place on Earth has better weather.
Well, before Sammy Sosa gets up there, I have to report a tragic bit of news. John McSherry, the fine umpire for so many years in the National League, died in Cincinnati on the 7th pitch of the ball game. I think he was working the plate. He's been bothered with heart problems before, and he died. Here's a foul ball back. And he died with his shoes on, and I guess that's the way any guy who loves his work, and like John McSherry loved his umpiring work, would like to go. Gary, good to see you, buddy. Here's a line drive, base hit. And Sosa gets his first hit of the season. A single to right. And here's Louis Gonzalez. There's a Sammy Sosa fan. They got their own club out there. You've seen some of the signs they've held up. All right, just a big run to pick up. Louis Gonzalez 0 for 2. You know, Jamie Navarro, just to show you what a crazy game this has been, all last year made 1 wild pitch. Today, he made 2 wild pitches in 1 inning, which accounted for their first run. And Sanchez, not known for his home run power. Line drive, gonna be caught. Nice play. Boy, Finley got a great jump on that ball. It was well hit, but out.
Louis has a lot of power to left center field, and Steve Finley, off with the crack of the bat, runs this one down. Sammy Sosa, all the way at second base, has to tag second base and go all the way back to first. So with 1 out in the inning, not a bad time to send Sosa, who's probably the premier base stealer on this team. And the bullpen now up and going for the Padres as Ashby is knocking at the door at the 100-pitch mark. And there's Jamie Navarro, who's been brilliant here today, giving up just 3 hits and 2 runs through 7.
Sammy Sosa almost started too soon. Sosa's stolen 34 bases last year.
And there is Sammy having to tag second base and retreat to first after the fine catch by Finley.
Well, my grandson, Brendan Newell. Oh, boy. How are you? There you are, Brendan. There you are. Service. Swings. 2-2 tie, bottom of the seventh.
Ashby wants to make it as hard as he can on Sosa, trying to steal second if he does indeed go. He's using a slide step, and there's Willie Blair throwing in the pen. No activity in the Cub bullpen to this point.
Service takes the pitch outside. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Game tied. 2-2, 1 on. Let's pause for identification.
This is America's #1 sports station, WGN-TV, Chicago.
Harry Caray back to the ballpark. Boy, I must really broadcast a funny way. My 20-month-old grandson is laughing while I'm working. And my wife, his grandma, holding him. Dutchy. There's the pitch high. One of our good friends, Jack and Joan Barry, are watching the game down in Florida. Every time I look at him, he smiles. Service with 1 out. There's a drive, way back. It might be. It's hit it. Holy cow! Service hit a home run into the left field bleachers with a man on. Look at the Cubs dugout. I can't let Brendan get away now. He brought us luck. 4-2 Cubs. Wow, was that ball hit.
Service gets a 2-0 fastball, inner part of the plate. You see Ausmus wants it away, but Ashby misses with it up and out over the plate. And Service picking up where he left off last year, going way back. The Cubs up by 2, courtesy of the long ball. 2-2-run bomb.
Here now is Hernandez. He singled his first time, and then with 2 out in the 5th, he drew what turned out to be a very important base on ball.
Coming right at you from the left field camera, you'll take a look at a long home run hit into the wind by Scott Service, and there was no doubt about that. And for Southwest Airlines, how far did it fly? 377 happy feet.
Hernandez held up. Oh, they say he went around appealing to the first base umpire, Dana Demuth. After drawing a base on balls with 2 out in the 5th, it was Sanchez following him who hit a home run in the same section of the bleachers that Service just hit one. So Hernandez goes down swinging. That's only the 4th strikeout for Alan Ashby. Two men out. The Cubs leading 4-2. 2 home run blasts. You know, Service last year hit only .225. There's a bunt that goes foul. And had only 1 home run and 12 RBIs with Houston. And he came over along with Louis Gonzalez to the Cubs in the trade for Rick Wilkins. For the Cubs, he had 12 homers, 35 RBIs, hitting .286. And today on the Cubs 1996 home opener, he's hit a 2-run homer to put him ahead. 1 ball, 1 strike. Now, if you are manager Jim Riggleman, the great game. Line drive right at Andujar. Andujar Cedeno. So, 2 runs, 2 hits, No air, nobody left. At the end of 7, the Cubs 4, the Padres 2.
I'm the Wayans brothers when Sean loses the spirit of Easter. Ain't no such thing as an Easter bunny. Can Marlon convince him to keep the faith?
I seen the Easter bunny. He left me behind these little pellets of chocolate. That wasn't chocolate.
Then on Unhappily, Jenny's celebrating springtime with a day in the country.
I want to have a beautiful family picnic.
But is this family ready for the great outdoors?
You killed Daddy. Now can we go home?
The WB Comedy, Wednesday night on WGN.
On Sister Sister, the twins go looking for a party right around the corner. Welcome to Canada. But wind up with egg on their face.
Stop it, this is my dad's car!
Now Ray's gonna be hopping mad. On the Parenthood, Robert and Jerry plan a romantic weekend without the family.
They're responsible kids. I'm sure they've got everything under control. Wrong.
Okay, girls, the party is on.
Just wait till they discover the risky business going on at home.
The WB Comedy, Wednesday night on WGN.
There were 2 times when we wanted our customers to really appreciate the new Chrysler Sebring convertible. Day and night. We literally redefined the convertible from the ground up.
Of course, sunny skies and starry nights aren't the only reasons to own this car.
It's quieter than you'd expect.
Cab forward provides more interior room as well as a more stable ride.
It truly is a car that gives you the sun, the moon,
and an actual backseat.
See the bright new stars of Chicagoland at your Chrysler Plymouth dealer.
Harry Caray with Steve Stone and Wayne Larrivee as we go in the top of the 8th. A sellout crowd of 38,734 paid here today. There's the 2 home run hitters today, Sanchez and Service, and they both hit it in the same section in left field. Maybe they picked the one spot the ball could be hit for a home run. The wind is more cross field. Here's Reed to lead it off. I started to ask you, Steve, with Navarro pitching so well, a lot of pressure on the manager, whether to go with them all the way or go to your bullpen.
Well, I think he figured that if he could get 100 to 110 pitches out of Jamie, that he would be very happy regardless of where that fell during the game. And now Fergie Jenkins wants to come out talk with Navarro. I think, Harry, he's right between that 100 and 110 pitch mark at this point. And I think there is cause for concern with Perez and Patterson loosening up in the bullpen. They want to find out just what Jamie has left. It looks like Chris Gwynn, for the moment, in the on-deck circle. The brother of Tony Gwynn, who made the ball club out of spring training. And there's Jim Riggleman. And you're right, there is a decision to be made at this point. Jamie's still popping the ball, but he's fallen behind 3-0. And you're trying to nurse along that 2-run lead.
A pinch hitter coming up next for Ashby. Right in there, a strike call.
Next telecast Wednesday afternoon when the Cubs and Padres will be right back at it here at Wrigley Field. Leadoff man at 1 o'clock, game time 1:20.
Ball 4, and who do you think's coming up? Not Tony Gwynn, Chris Gwynn. Chris Gwynn, who is his brother, his younger brother. Ashby did a fine job while he was in there.
7 innings pitched for Andy Ashby. Gave up 4 runs on 4 hits, the 2 homers. He walked 1 and he fanned 5.
And now Gwynn, a left-hand hitter, is stepping up there. Like his brother, a left-hand hitter. Ooh, he took a good cut. Looking down at Tim Flannery coaching at third base. There's Flannery. Remember him in 1984. He got an important hit in the final game of the playoffs in the 7th inning. Strike 2 call. Tomorrow's an off day, but Wednesday, Frank Castillo, celebrating his 27th birthday today, will be pitching Wednesday against Joey Hamilton. Pulled a foul. 0-2 the count.
Good time for Navarro to go low and out of the strike zone here. He's well ahead of Gwynn. You've got to believe that after making the ball club in spring training, kind of a surprise for the Padres that Gwynn would be over anxious. Let's see if Jamie wastes one down.
Runner at first, nobody out. Yeah, a little, almost got away from surface, so it looked like it might have hit the ground. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 4-2 ball game in favor of the Cubs. Big sellout crowd, over 38,000 paid. Bouncing ball. And Grace is going to play it safe. Steps on the bag for the first out of the inning. And the reason he didn't throw, in the angle that he fielded the ball in, the runner was right in the way. He could very easily might have hit him.
You also have a 2-run lead. It's a lot different if you're trying to nurse along a 1-run lead, but 2 runs up, you certainly want to take the out, stay out of the big inning, and not risk opening the floodgate.
And so here is Rickey Henderson. Worry here, folks. Gotta be careful. Long ball hitter when the time called. I wonder if the umpires know what happened too. I'm sure they must know it now. Boy, what a sad thing. A home run hitter. Rickey Henderson. Bouncing ball, big hop. Easy out to first base. And Henderson bounced out. And here's Finley, like Henderson. A dangerous man in this situation.
And if you're on the mound and you're Jamie Navarro, you want to end it right here. You don't want to get to Gwynn and Caminiti, the heart of the order as far as the Padres are concerned. You'd love to end it with Finley. And he wants to keep it alive. You still have to respect his bunting ability, but they're back at the corners with Hernandez and Grace. 2 steps in back of the bag.
Strike over the inside corner. Hernandez playing wide of the bag. Grace covering the line at first base. Fouled it off. 0-2 the count. Ben Stein and his daughter Carol, along with people behind the San Diego dugout, and Ben Stein's regular season tickets. Good to see Ben out and around. 0-2 the count. Whoa, a wild pitch, and there's a second run. That is scored on a wild pitch, making the score now 4-3. Now, isn't that something? All of last year, Navarro made only 1 wild pitch. This year, he's already made 3 in 1 ball game, 2 in 1 inning for all 3 of their runs. Yeah, that hurt. 4-3 now. 1 ball, 2 strikes. That must indicate, though, that he has plenty of stuff on that slider. Bouncing, look at that, next pitch. Sandberg throws out Finley to retire the side, but 1 run. No hits. Nobody left. We go in the bottom of the 8th, and the Cubs are leading 4-3.
Robert's leaving the kids for a romantic getaway. The Parenthood.
Wednesday at 7:30 on WGN Channel 9.
I've cut it 3 times a week, but never too low. I've watered it, I've fed it, I've talked to it. Careers will be made on it. It does not fear the occasional weed or the suicide squeeze. They will spit on it, but they will wear it home. This is my yard, and you can play on it if you're good enough.
True Value, a proud sponsor of opening day and yards everywhere.
Okay, boy. Now, just like I taught you, I want you to open the cooler, and I want you to get me an ice-cold Pepsi. Come on, boy. You can do it. Good boy, good boy. Maybe later we'll play Frisbee.
Hey, big boy. You got another one of those for me?
Oh.
Je t'aime.
I love this dream.
When the Twins take Ray's brand new car to a party, Ray's gonna pop his cottontail. Sister, sister.
Wednesday at 7 on WGN Channel 9.
Harry Caray back at Wrigley Field. There's a good April Fool's sign. Cubs lose. April Fool. I hope it's April Fool. The Cubs are leading at the moment 4-3. Scott Bullitt batting 4. Jamie Navarro, who pitched a sensational ball game. Willie Blair on the mound for the Padres. Willie Blair.
Blair 7-5 last year. Appeared in 40 games. Like to get Bullitt on to start the inning. The Cubs could certainly use some insurance runs. Nice effort by Navarro, going 8 innings, giving up just 3 hits and 3 runs.
Bullitt takes the strike call. For Navarro, in 8 innings, allowed only 3 hits, but made 3 wild pitches, which were prominent in 2 of the 3 runs they've scored. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Bullitt in a role he was used in a lot last year by Jimmy Riggleman. Ball 4 high, and now you got a lot of speed on the bases, and Bullitt, he can really fly.
The one time they tested Ausmus, he did not make a good throw. That was a stolen base by Hernandez back in the 3rd inning. Now Caminiti will come in at 3rd looking for the bunt. And you figure a hit and run or the bunt right here would be a pretty good play. And if you do lay it down, you want to bunt it up the right side. Keep it away from Caminiti, who's got a great arm.
He was going to bunt, takes the strike call. Brian McRae, nothing out of 3. Tony Muster coaching at 3rd base, going through a series of signs. Dan Radisson at 1st base. 1 strike and nothing. Outside evens the count. Hey, the Dodgers got 4 in the 5th as Houston to take a 4-1 lead. How about those Mets? They've come back and now lead the Cardinals 7-6. The Cardinals got away to a 6-0 lead. Runner at first, Scott Bullitt. The throw, whoa, almost threw it away. Good play by Joyner. Joyner is reminiscent, as we talked about before, of Mark Grace. They're both the same type of hitters, same type of fielders. Great first baseman. Oh, time call. Time call. And McRae went ahead and bunted the ball foul, but there's Jim Riggleman. He's a little chilly. It's cold in the shade, all right in the sun. Quick throw. Oh, to pick up an insurance run or two. Jim Bullinger, one of the Cubs starting pitchers. Oh, they might have a play. It's like, no. Caminiti started to throw the second, thought better of it. I think he made a good choice. So here's Sandberg now. So Bullitt's speed was important on that play. Probably anybody else other than Sosa would have been forced. Instead, Caminiti had to throw it to first base. So that leaves a man in scoring position. Here's Sandberg. A little bit low. Mark Grace is next. We're in the bottom of the eighth. A honey of a ball game. Look at the rooftop. They're sold out today, too. Don Nystrom has 100 Budweiser customers on the roof of Jim Murphy's saloon. Ball low in the dirt.
And this is where the man up at bat really looking for the fastball, especially with left-hand hitting Mark Grace on deck. Let's see if Rhino can get a fastball middle in and do something with it.
2 balls, no strikes. Ball 3. Sandberg playing his first game since May the 10th, 1994. Billy Williams mentioned during spring training how much more patient he thought these Cub players were this year, and is proving to be so. Ball 4. And Sandberg walked. Willie Blair pitching very carefully with a man in scoring position. Well, a walk preceded Sanchez's home run in the 5th that tied up the ball game. Now a walk to Bullitt and another one to Sandberg has given the Cubs a great opportunity.
That's Dan Warthen, the pitching coach, coming out. Kind of surprising that he would pitch essentially around Sandberg with Grace on deck. You don't have the left-hander in the pen, so you're looking at a very tough left-hand hitter with a right-hander on the mound. So Dan Warthen.
Hey, Steve, that's Doug Butler working in the bullpen, and he also was involved in the Brad Ausmus and Andy Ashby trade, with Ashby being the player to be named later. So they got 3 men, one helping them in the bullpen, the starting catcher and the starting pitcher. That was some kind of deal they made in Colorado. Line drive, base hit, first pitch. Here's the runner trying to score. Whoa, he falls down, and he's tagged out. Rounding third base, Bullitt slipped and fell about 3/4 of the way to the plate, and he's tagged out. That's a bad break.
Well, Rickey Henderson has made a living, these many years, on getting to the ball quickly in left field. and then making some pretty accurate throws. He doesn't have the strongest arm in the world, but look how quickly he gets to it. The throw is pretty accurate, and Bullitt just loses his footing. And as he goes tumbling, Ausmus puts the tag on, but the runners move up to second and third for Sammy Sosa. Mark Grace thought he had the first run batted into the year. Instead, Bullitt winds up short of the plate.
All right, here is Sammy Sosa, who singled and scored on Service's home run in the 7th. Takes the pitch a little bit low. Runners second and third. You know, Henderson's throw might have gotten him at the plate anyhow. 1 ball, no strikes. But with a speedy man like Bullitt, you got to try to score him. You know, he slipped just before he hit that circle there, the dirt, which conveys where the fungo hitter hits fungos to the infield from. Inside. Well, Atlanta beat San Francisco 10-8, I think it is. Hot shot foul outside third base, 2-2. 1 inning to go. The Cubs 3 outs away from a victory.
Here's where
but look who's coming up in the 9th. Tony Gwynn, Ken Caminiti, and Wally Joyner, their best 3 hitters. Whoa, he struck him out. To retire the side, he tried to check his swing. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 2 men left. At the end of 8, 4-3 in favor of the Cubs.
Chicago Cubs baseball on WGN is brought to you by Southwest Airlines, celebrating 25 years of low fares, frequent flights, and fun.
What do you get when you fly the low-fare airline? Fun fares.
Well, you've waited so long for a fare to get so nice and low now. Now you really should fly.
Light up the night. Southwest Airlines' new fun fares are so low. Want to see that again? Now you can fly just for the fun of it.
Come along with us, 'cause we got a lot of things to do now. Now you really should fly. And you'll have fun, 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 flying Southwest on a fun fair today. Fun, fun, flying on a fun fair today.
I remember it like it was yesterday. I was hosting my first big business dinner, and I paid with my Visa card. Turns out I was over my limit. I was so embarrassed, I didn't know what to do. So I got the American Express card, and it never happened again.
Call 1-800-THE-CARD. We can take your application right over the phone.
Applying for the card was one of the easiest things I've ever done, and smartest. And anyone who's ever gone anywhere knows it. I have a place to cash checks, get my mail, and get help when I need it.
My dad said the minute you get a job, get an American Express card. He said, trust me on this one. I've gone everywhere with it. And here's a tip. Sign up for membership rewards, and everything you charge on the card will earn you program points, so you can keep on traveling.
So call now for the American Express card. You can apply right over the phone.
It's really worth it.
It helped not having a preset limit.
I got cash on the go.
I can call 24 hours a day. That helps.
Go anywhere, and it's with you all the way.
Don't delay. Just dial 1-800-THE-CARD.
Harry Caray back at Wrigley Field. What better place to plan a group outing than the friendly confines of Wrigley Field, whether it's employees, family, or friends? Special rates are now available for groups of 20 or more, and plenty of seats are available for every game. For more information on group sales at Wrigley Field, call this number. Oh, Gwynn, the first pitch. He was fooled, and he's an easy out. 1 out. Doug Jones is in the game on relief. Here's a Chrysler Plymouth game summary with the Cubs leading 4-3. Navarro, 3 hits in 8 innings. 3 wild pitches enabled him to score 2 of the 3 runs. And a big home run. Sanchez with a man on to tie it. And Scott Service with a man on to give him a chance to win it. 1 out. Caminiti swings and misses. Todd Jones.
You know that Doug Jones is going to get the ball over the plate. 22 saves last year, a high ERA, but he throws strikes, and he's been around a long time. And he retired a very tough man on 1 pitch.
Doug Jones, 37-year-old veteran, didn't win anything last year, lost 4, but struck out 42 in 46 innings. 38 years old. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out.
Stay tuned after the game for the GMC game highlights. And Ken Caminiti has cracked his bat. Well, let's see if Jones has somewhat of an advantage. Now, he's been in the National League before, but the Padres haven't seen him in a while.
Boy, I thought that was... He got Tony Gwynn on off it. I guess everything he throws is a change, but Tony was way out in front on the pitch, so it had to be even slower than he anticipated.
Well, the one thing you know, there's no way in the world you're going to rattle Doug Jones. He's seen just about everything in his long career at this point, and you know he's going to throw strikes. Very rarely will he hurt himself. He's going to make the Padres hit him to beat him.
Jamie Navarro figures to win this game. There's a looper. Foul. Oh, boy. Caminiti carrying the bat with him down the first baseline.
I think he knew it was foul all the way, and it saved the Cubs a double. That one falling on the right side of the line as far as the Cubs are concerned.
Caminiti's hit the ball hard all 3 times up there.
Terry Adams loosening up in the pen, getting ready to go in case Jones needs some help.
A little bit inside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Boy, the contrast between Randy Myers and Doug Jones. 2 balls, 2 strikes. The sides are left-handed and right-handed. He swings. What did he do? Did he foul it? Yeah.
Fouled it off in self-defense. I think Doug was pumped up a little bit, got that fastball up there pretty well. From the Southwest Plainview camera, we'll take a look at a defensive swing, self-preservation on the part of Caminiti, who was able to foul it off and stay alive.
Well, boy, Arnie's going to have a problem with the Budweiser player of the day. 2 balls, 2 strikes. He could give it to Ray Sanchez, whose unexpected 2-run homer with 2 out tied it. Could give it to Scott Service, whose 2-run homer put him ahead, a chance to win it, as they are at the moment. Ground ball foul.
There's another guy going to go unnoticed, Harry.
And
because
Jamie Navarro.
Well, the other guy is the man in center field. Brian McRae has made some fine defensive catches out there that's helped Navarro certainly keep the Padres at bay. And there's a look at Brian McRae, who plays center field here at Wrigley Field, probably better than anybody.
Base hit up the middle. And so, with 1 out, the tying run is on. And here is Wally Joyner, another tough left-hand hitter. A guy who puts the ball in the play, seldom strikes out.
One of the things you can do with Wally Joyner is induce him to ground into a double play. And this year, unlike last year where the Cubs were 13th in the league, they will turn a few more double plays with Sanchez and Sandberg in the middle.
Jim Riggleman looking on very anxiously. 1 out, 2 outs away from a big victory. Outside, Joyner, tall, rangy left-hand hitter. Started with the Angels. Then with
Michael Caine loves.
And now with the Padres. Doug Jones, 38-year-old right-hander. Ooh. Ball 2.
Now, Joyner did see Jones last year, and Jones was a member of the Baltimore Orioles, so he has the advantage of seeing him pitch of late.
1 out, 1 on. There's danger here, Sherry. Whoa, he foul tipped it. That was a change, and it looked like Joyner put a change of bat on his swing. He just kind of slowed it up as if to meet it.
Now there's Davey
and he
Lopes
did foul it.
talking with Ken Caminiti. Caminiti, deceptively a good base runner. You don't expect him to go, but he will on occasion. He swiped 12 last year.
2 balls and a strike. Swung and he missed. And now it's 2-2. There's Bruce Bochy to your right, the San Diego manager, and of course Jim Riggleman right there in Cub Blue. 2-2, big pitch. Whoa, that game is tied. A line drive to left, and brand new ball game. And Joyner lined the double into the left field corner. And Navarro cannot win.
We told you that Joyner had seen Jones, and he gets this fastball up and out over the plate, and he slices the ball down the line. Ken Caminiti scores easily. Joyner winds up at second base. Nothing Louis Gonzalez can do. Here comes Jim Riggleman, and he just might be making a change.
Well, in the close ball games, that's why every baseball man you talk to will talk about the need for a good closer. So often teams are ahead going into the ninth, but the relief pitcher can't hold them. You say, hey, for 1 inning, you ought to be able to hold them, but you got to remember the other guy has good ball players also. All tied up, 4-4.
It's like Trevor Hoffman getting loosened up in the bullpen, and he is the stopper for the Padres.
And he really throws hard. Broke in originally with Cincinnati. Then went to the Marlins. Now with San Diego. Strike called. Brad Ausmus, nothing out of 3. Brand new ball game. 4-4 tie. Ground ball to short. 2 away, and Joyner's at third base. Boy, oh boy. Jamie Navarro. How disappointed he must be right now. The rarest thing for Navarro is a wild pitch, and yet he made 3 of them today. And the 3 wild pitches were good for 2 of their 4 runs. And that'll tell you the kind of a tough game he's had. 2 out. Go ahead, run at third. Strike call on Cedeno, who singled and stole in the 5th. Little outside. Looking ahead. Bottom of the 9th. Gonzalez, Service, and Hernandez. Outside, ball 3. And Jody Reed will be next. Jody Reed is one of these guys with a so-so batting average, but he always manages to do something to help win a ball game. Like Lemke of the Braves. Woo, he had a cut. 3-2.
Cedeno helped Jones out there. That was ball 4, dipping out of the strike zone, but Cedeno over anxious. Swings at one that's less than ankle high.
Game tied up 4-4. Struck him out to retire the side. But 1 run, 2 hits, 1 left. We're going to bottom of the 9th. The game tied up 4-4.
Men, is gray hair sneaking up on you right under your nose?
It is sneaking up on me. Here, too.
You need Just for Men gel. Brush in, and in 5 minutes, rinse.
It's the sure thing for a natural look.
Just for Men gel.
How Charlie the Barber eats a Reese's peanut butter cup.
First, I take a little off the top. Then, I take a little more.
There's no wrong way to eat a Reese's.
Michael Caine loves Sally Field.
I'm enormously attracted to you.
I don't make love before the first date.
Steve Gutenberg loves Sally Field.
Marry me, Daisy.
You have to say yes.
I do?
You do.
But who does Sally Field love?
I feel sick.
When a love story
It was incredible.
gets this confusing,
You're a weird person, aren't you?
it's time to
Can't you just stop being a hopeless romantic?
surrender. Tonight at 7 on WGN Channel 9.
Some of the most acclaimed cars in history are now on sale. Save now on all the award-winning cab-forward Chrysler sedans, sporty Cirrus, luxury family sedan Chrysler Concorde, and the elegant Chrysler LHS. Choose low APRs or low lease rates or up to $3,000 cash back. The technology of cab-forward design is now on sale.
See the bright new stars of Chicagoland at your Chrysler Plymouth dealer.
Here's another Cub opening day thrill.
Well hit, deep to right, back, high! It's all over! Willie Smith got homered! The Cubs win the game!
69. All right, here's Gonzalez. Has hit the ball fairly hard twice. Struck out another time. There's a drive in the center field going to be caught. Finley coming in. 1 away. And here's Service. Can he do it again? Willie Blair on the hill. Boy, oh boy. Bullet. Falling on his way to home plate, although we'll never know whether he would have been out anyway on Rickey Henderson's fine throw. I kind of think he would have been out anyhow. Strike called. Deprive Mark Grace of a big RBI. And the Cubs of a 9-inning victory, because that would have put them ahead 5-2. The Padres tied it up 4-4 in the bottom of the 9th. Swing. Tried to check, one around. I hope that the turn of events hasn't affected the Cub players psychologically. 3 wild pitches account for 2 runs. You got a possible insurance run racing for the plate when he slips and falls and is tagged out. It's easy to think, well, maybe we're not supposed to win this game. Well, here's a guy who could win it. He has home run power. Hit 13 of them a year ago. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 out, nobody on. fouls it back. How about the Cardinals against the Mets? The Cardinals, playing in New York, had a 6-0 lead and lost to the Mets 7-6. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Struck him out. Boy, they're pitching. Suddenly looks awfully good. At the end of 9, we're tied at 4.
I've cut it 3 times a week, but never too low. I've watered it, I've fed it, I've talked to it. Careers will be made on it. It does not fear the occasional weed or the suicide squeeze. They will spit on it, but they will wear it home. This is my yard, and you can play on it if you're good enough.
True Value, a proud sponsor of opening day and yards everywhere.
Introducing the new Pepsi Stuff catalog. Now, the more Pepsi you drink, the more great stuff you're going to get.
Sure beats the bus.
Hello again, everybody. Harry Caray with Steve Stone. Say, do you feel a cold coming on?
A scratchiness in your throat.
Maybe you picked up a little bug that's been going around.
Yes, a bug.
Gosh, I hope you don't have to miss work someday soon.
It would really be a shame if you had to take a sick day on one of those dates you see there on your screen.
Man, oh man, that would be a shame. For now, this is Harry Caray.
And Steve Stone saying,
holy cow, you don't look so good. Harry Caray back at Wrigley Field as we go to the top of the 10th. Jody Reed will lead it off. Doug Jones, who is touched for that game-tying run in the 9th, delivers a fastball in there, a strike call. Jones, 38 years old.
Looks like Scott Livingstone in the on-deck circle.
Ground ball, base hit. Sandberg went to his left, dived for the ball, couldn't come up with a base hit. And let's see who's going to be the hitter. Livingstone.
Nice late on Sandberg going to his left, and he has the ball hop over his glove. So the leadoff man aboard here in the 10th inning as the Cubs go extra innings in their first ball game. And there's a look at a very good contact hitter in Scott Livingstone, and you see what he's done career as a pinch hitter. Pretty impressive.
Livingstone had a fine year with San Diego last season, hitting .337. There goes a run of the good throw. They can't get him. He stopped and came back. The hit and run was on.
Really good base running by Jody Reed. When he realized that Livingstone was swinging through it, he just put on the brakes. Service does everything he can. He'd have been dead to rights at second, and Reed able to beat the play at first. So that is a heads-up play. Now let's see if maybe they'll bunt with Livingstone to move along Reed.
Jones throws so many change of paces. You would think that would help a good base runner steal. I hope Henderson doesn't get on.
Well, Reed doesn't have particularly good speed. Only 6 stolen bases all of last year. So if he's going to run, it's usually on a hit and run.
Reed a lead. Swung and a miss. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The Dodgers are leading Houston 4-3 at the end of 6. The Mets came from behind and edged the Cardinals 7-6 in New York. Struck him out. Livingstone goes down swinging. And here is that man, Rickey Henderson.
From the Southwest Plainview camera, we'll take a look at Livingstone swinging through a changeup well out ahead of this one. And there is a Southwest Airlines Plainview camera high atop Wrigley Field.
Henderson is nothing out of 4. A dangerous hitter. Rickey now 38 years old. In his 17th year in the major leagues. His first year in the National League. He was with Oakland, the Yankees, then Oakland again. Ball 3.
One thing that Henderson always has been able to do is get command of that strike zone. Very rarely, if ever, does he swing at anything out of the zone. He makes you come to him.
3 balls, no strikes, the pitch. Right in there. 3-1.
Now
let's see what they do.
Let's see if Reed is going here. Henderson, usually a pretty good contact man.
Ball 4, and the Padres threaten now. Runners at first and second, 1 out. Finley, the hitter, and it's going to be the left-hander coming out of the bullpen. We'll tell you more about it in a moment. Well, the Padres, with runners at first and second, a veteran left-hander, Bob Patterson, replaces Doug Jones. A game situation.
Patterson pitched his way onto this club with a fine spring. In 9 games in spring training, he was 1-0, an ERA of 2.70. His last save coming at Chicago, but in the American League. And his last win coming at Detroit in the American League. He inherits base runners at first and second, a tough situation with Finley and Gwynn due up.
Well, a lot of the fans have left. The Cubs seemingly had this one won. But you got to give a pat on the back to the Padres. They bounced back from defeat. Now they're in the spot to win. The pitch to Finley. Slider outside. There's the L, which transports a lot of the Cub fans to and from. Patterson. Ooh, he swung and he missed. He had a good cut. 1 ball, 1 strike. Finley very fast. Strike 2. Patterson sneaking fast with that one. Patterson, 37 years old.
Last season, the Padres in extra innings, 1 below 500.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Patterson was 5-2 with the Angels last year. He's ahead of Finley. And who do you think is coming up next? Tony Gwynn. So Patterson really has his work cut out for himself. 1 ball, 2 strikes. A little bit low. 2-2. Patterson with the Angels struck out 41 in 53 innings. So he can get the strikeout. He could use it here. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Ground ball. Race has it. Races to the bag. He's not going to try for the double play.
Well, now, Harry, I think you got to walk Tony Gwynn and take your chances with Ken Caminiti. And then the decision is, do you want to face him from the right or left side? But there's no way you're going to face Tony Gwynn here, I don't believe. And here comes Jim Riggleman to make sure that he and Bob Patterson are on the same page.
Caminiti also hits left-handed. Bud is a switch hitter. Tony Gwynn hits left-handed. But he hits everybody. Mike Perez down to the bullpen. And Patterson, who retired Finley, now really has his work cut out. Here's the greatest hitter in baseball. He's won 6. He's not going to walk him intentionally. And there will be Caminiti that they'll be trying to retire. With the bases loaded.
You don't win 6 batting titles not being able to hit left-hand pitchers.
What I keep thinking of, the wild pitches that we saw earlier, that might be the trend of this ball game. I hate, and this is no place to make a wild pitch with the bases loaded. 2 balls, no strikes, ball 3. 1 more and the bases will be loaded. All right. And here's where Caminiti turns around to hit right-handed.
That's what he's done career with the bases loaded, so he's had a pretty good run at it. And now you see Ken Caminiti versus the Cubs and against the rest of the National League. So you can see that he has done a lot of damage against the Cubs and the Cub pitching over the course of his career. And notably last season.
He's had a great career with San Diego after being in a big trade they made with Houston, where he broke into the big league. Fine third baseman, good hitter. Strike over the outside corner. 1 strike and nothing. Bases are loaded. Game is tied. 2 are out. We're in the top of the 10th. Foul back. And it's 0-2. Can he get 1 more over without having it hit safely? Bases loaded, 2 out. Caminiti, switch hitter. Hit .302 last year with 26 homers, 94 RBIs. Check him out! Patterson did the job. Caminiti arguing about it. It caught the outside corner. And the Cubs coming in from the bottom of the 10th. So, we go in the bottom of the 10th game, still tied 4-4. Budweiser.
Well, jamming, I wanna jam it with you. We're jamming, and I hope you like jamming too.
New service to Orlando on Southwest, the low-fare airline.
Michael Caine loves Sally Field.
I'm enormously attracted to you.
I don't make love before the first date.
Steve Gutenberg loves Sally Field.
Marry me, Daisy.
You have to say yes.
I do?
You do.
But who does Sally Field love?
I feel sick.
When a love story
It was incredible.
gets this confusing,
You're a weird person, aren't you?
it's time to
Can't you just stop being a hopeless romantic?
surrender. Tonight at 7 on WGN Channel 9.
Harry Caray with Steve Stone and Wayne Larrivee. Let's pause here for identification.
This is America's #1 sports station, WGN TV, Chicago.
Trevor Hoffman, the hard-throwing young right-hander, takes over for the Padres.
And Hoffman last year with 31 saves, a 3.88 ERA, appeared in 55 games, and he can bring it.
Strike call.
Caminiti.
Here's Sanchez, who tied it up early with a 2-run homer.
Caminiti thinking that Sanchez is going to bunt in on the grass at third base. Joyner a couple steps in back of the bag at first.
Strike two. He swung. He tried to stop. He fouled it off.
For the moment, Patterson in the on-deck circle.
Well, Patterson, if Sanchez could get on there, Patterson would hit for himself. Fouls it off, had a good cut. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Ray, one of the best contact men in the league, and usually the best contact man on the Cubs team. And that one rattling off the mask of Brad Ausmus, I think broke the mask. So he'll go back and get another one as Ray Sanchez trying to get aboard, setting up the bunt by Patterson and eliminating Jim Riggleman having to go to his bench again.
I think I mentioned before that the 2 catchers of the Padres are the most educated, I guess, in the league. Ausmus graduated from Dartmouth and Brian Johnson from Stanford. Low, ball 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, game tied. Bottom of the 10th. The Padres scored 1 in the 8th and 1 in the 9th to tie it. Base hit! And now Patterson can hit for himself. Sanchez leads off the 10th with a single left.
Trevor Hoffman gets the ball up high, and Ray Sanchez, who is a great contact hitter, just drives it through the left side. Good effort by Cedeno, but he comes up short on this bullet. And now Patterson will be bunting. And Wally Joyner to talk with Trevor Hoffman just exactly when he wants him to release. You want to make sure that he's not charging with Hoffman going to first with a pickoff attempt. Caminiti very close at third. And there's a look at Hoffman and what he did last year.
Here's Bob Patterson. Strike call over the outside corner. Patterson pitches left-handed, hits right-handed. Trevor Hoffman, hard-throwing right-hander.
Dan Radisson telling Sanchez to be heads up about the fake charge by Joyner and then go back to the bag for the pickoff move.
Look how shallow Caminiti is. Wow, he can almost shake hands with Patterson. There's Tony Music.
Well, Harry, when you hit 115 lifetime and a man's throwing 94, you don't figure he's going to pull the ball by you at third.
Sanchez a lead. Well, I'd settle for a wild pitch right here.
That would look pretty good. Anything that got Sanchez to second base would look real good.
Strike two call.
Well, you got to believe the bunt is still going to be on for Patterson. He's just got to make some contact.
Caminiti's dropped back about a yard or so. Still is more than halfway down the line towards home plate. Struck him out trying to bunt. Patterson goes down trying to sacrifice. Here's Brian McRae looking for his first hit. And Sandberg would be next. The outfield is shade towards left. A lot of room in right center. Trevor Hoffman's fastball is low and away. Hoffman, 28-year-old right-hander, hard thrower. Bounces in front of the plate. Good stop by Brad Ausmus.
Cubs last year, 2 games over 500 in extra inning games, and they'd like to start it off on the right foot here in '96.
Hoffman last year won 7, lost 4. And he had over 30 saves besides. 2 balls and a strike. Pittsburgh at Florida. Pirates lead 1-0 early in the second. Whoa!
That ball looked like it was at least 6 inches outside, and Jim Quick giving the benefit of the doubt to Trevor Hoffman. Watch it again, and we'll take a look at where this pitch winds up. Looks like it was well off the plate.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Base hit, left field, and runners run. First and second. McRae grounded a single to left. And the Cubs have a chance. And here is Sandberg.
This would be a storybook ending, wouldn't it?
Oh, what a way to end the ball game. If the Rhino could win it right here, this crowd would really love it. And we've been able to pick up Arnie, Margaret, Sandberg in the stands. Runners, winning run at second base. Whoa, almost a wild pitch.
You'd like to see Hoffman falling behind with the slider and then having to come to Sandberg with the fastball, especially if it's up.
1 ball, no strikes. Strike called, evens it up. 1 ball, 1 strike. Sandberg hit the ball hard, would have been a home run. The type of a ball that was held up by the wind and was caught by Rickey Henderson. His first time up. Since then, he's been an easy out twice. There, almost, the runners almost broke, but Ausmus again made a good save of a pitch which could have been a wild pitch.
Good thing that Sanchez stayed at second base, because with the ball down the third base line and Ausmus' momentum carrying him toward third, it would have been an easy throw for him.
2 balls and a strike. The crowd alive naturally. Swung and he missed, and the count even. 2 balls, 2 strikes. It looked like a good pitch that he swung at, missed. Runners first and second. The winning run is the one at second base, Ray Sanchez. Ausmus directing his infield around. 2-2. Whoa, high over his head. Ball 3. Sometimes I get the runners started in a situation like this.
It's a pretty big gamble with Grace due up next, however. You only have 1 out, and you certainly want to bring the left-hander up, but we'll see what's on the mind of Jim Riggleman.
Now ready, 3 balls, 2 strikes. Runners first and second, game tied in the bottom of the 10th. Ball 4, the bases are loaded. And here is Mark Grace, who was robbed of an RBI when pinch hitter Scott Bullitt fell down heading for the plate on Grace's single and left.
Now you have to bring the infield in, you have to bring the outfield in, and it makes it fairly easy to hit. And Grace, with the bases loaded, a career 400 hitter, and any kind of long fly ball will do it here. Everybody in.
All right, hold everything. Mark Grace, a long fly would win it. Base hit would win it. Swung and he missed. He was going for the fly ball, it looked like. Look how shallow Gwynn is out and right. Finley in center. And Rickey Henderson in left. They're playing short outfield. Followed it out of play. He did not have a good swing. And he's behind on the count, 0-2. Now Grace rarely strikes out. Bases are loaded. The infield is in, they have to be. Outside, ball 1. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 28-year-old Trevor Hoffman. Big right-hander gets ready. Oh, almost a wild pitch. A great save by Brad Ausmus. That's what he must have majored in at Dartmouth. Stopping would-be wild pitches.
Well, that was quite an effort. Jamie Navarro's still around. And I'm kind of surprised that Cedeno is as deep as he is at shortstop, because on a chopper, he's got no chance of coming home with it. They've got to go second to first, and a chopper scores the run. That's a most unusual defensive alignment in this situation.
Now ready. Fouled it off. He's lucky he did. He was way off stride on that one. Mark was fooled by the pitch, but he tapped it foul. Sam, you made the shirt too long. Cubs win! Cubs win! Cubs win! Cubs win! Holy cow! Mark Grace came through with a single to left, and the Cubs have won the season's opener before a capacity crowd of almost 39,000 paid. Watch this. Look at that. There's the ball game. Wow. Boy, oh boy. Hey, Ma, it was a tough fight. Look at it. Look at, of course, he knows right away the game's over. Well, watch the bench now, the dugout. Look at them. Hey! Look at it. They're all coming out. Boy, oh boy, what an exciting afternoon we have had. And Mark Grace finally gets the RBI that he also could have had earlier in the game. So would you say that Mark Grace was destined today to somehow drive in the important run?
I would say, Harry, that you couldn't ask for anything more exciting on opening day. The Cub dugout emptying, and watch the hit again as he slices it down the line by Caminiti. It's a fastball off the plate, but Grace protecting, and what an effort. And we'll throw it down to Wayne Larrivee right in front of the Cub dugout.
All right, thank you very much, Stoney. Mark Grace, congratulations. What a thrill.
How about that? That was a lot of fun, wasn't it?
Well, you were down in the count 0-2. I said, I'm not worried about Mark Grace 0-2. You worked it to 2-2, and then what did you get?
I was worried about Mark Grace, I'll tell you that much. I fought off a couple of pitches. He got to 2-2, and I hit a fastball. He actually threw a pretty good pitch, and I just tried to lay it out there, and that's exactly what happened. He got lucky, hit it in the right spot.
This was not a hitter's day. Wind blowing in, cold temperature, hard throwers on the mound all afternoon.
Jamie was great today, and their guy was very, very good also. Bob Patterson came in and did a hell of a job there at the end to get us out of that inning. Gave us a chance to win the ball game. That's who said we can't win at Wrigley Field?
Kind of reminiscent of some of the late season victories you guys pulled out and come from behind fashion in extra innings last year.
That brought back some memories right there. That was fun. That's fun. That's what it's all about. Didn't you have fun today, Wayne?
Absolutely, Mark. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Mark Grace of the Cubs. Let's send it back upstairs.
Okay, Mark and Wayne. That's a heck of a way to end an afternoon.
Well, Harry, I think he had just about everything today. He had some very good pitching from Navarro. He had some excellent pitching from Patterson, keeping the game alive. He had just enough hitting with a couple of home runs, and the heroics by Mark Grace. And all in all, a great day at Wrigley Field with the Cubs winning.
And let me tell you something. We cannot overlook Ray Sanchez. If it hadn't been for him today, they were losing 2-0. He, with 2 out, a man on a walk, homered to tie it up. And then he scored the winning run in the 10th on Mark Grace's single to left. Well, we'll be back now in a moment.
Introducing the new Pepsi Stuff catalog. Now, the more Pepsi you drink, the more great stuff you're going to get.
Sure beats the bus. There were 2 times when we wanted our customers to really appreciate the new Chrysler Sebring convertible. Day and night. We literally redefined the convertible from the ground up.
Of course, sunny skies and starry nights aren't the only reasons to own this car.
It's quieter than you'd expect.
Cab forward provides more interior room as well as a more stable ride.
It truly is a car that gives you the sun, the moon,
and an actual backseat.
See the bright new stars of Chicagoland at your Chrysler Plymouth dealer.
The Budweiser play of the game is the game's winning hit. You just heard and saw the man who got it, Mark Grace. The winning run scores, Ray Sanchez, and that's a Budweiser play of a wonderful, wonderful day. The producer-director of Cubs baseball is Arnie Harris. Our associate producer, Joe Corneo. Boy, what a day, and what a day. And for people, these doom and gloom guys should have been at the ballpark today and seen the excitement of this crowd as the Cubs won the ball game 5-4 in 10 innings. Our next telecast will be between the Padres and the Cubs, not tomorrow on open date, but Wednesday afternoon. Our telecast will begin with a leadoff band at 1 o'clock. Harry Caray with Steve Stone and Wayne Larrivee repeating the final score. The Cubs 5, the Padres 4. Holy cow, what a wonderful afternoon.
Chicago Cubs baseball on WGN. Brought to you by Bud Light. If you want great taste that won't fill you up and never lets you down, make it a Bud Light. The Stars of Chicagoland, your local Chrysler Plymouth dealers. Electric Avenue Montgomery Ward, the store for great prices on brand name electronics and appliances. Pepsi, drink Pepsi, get stuff. Aflac, insuring over 38 million people worldwide. And by Southwest Airlines, celebrating 25 years of low fares, frequent flights, and fun.
Urkel's on the run. He's hiding from his love-crazed girlfriend.
She wants to do the wiggle, wiggle, wing ding.
At my age, you hope for a wiggle, but you settle for a ding.
And while everyone thinks he's a Don Juan,
He's a lady killer. He's a poodle-facing, skirt-chasing love daddy.
he just wants to get away.
I can think of a better way to use our lips.
On the next Family Matters.
Tonight at 6 on WGN Channel 9.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here.
Your best friends share your point of view. Shouldn't your truck go where you want to go? Go for a Sonoma.
For a limited time, get the lease deal you've been waiting for on a new Sonoma at your Chicagoland and Northern Indiana GMC dealers.
This is WGN Chicago.
The 10th inning. Brought to you by your Chicagoland and Northern Indiana GMC dealers.
Welcome to the 10th inning. What a ball game it was today. It had just about everything for everyone, including a Cubs victory. And, oh, by the way, they're in first place, at least a tie for first place, as the Cubs did just about everything right here today. They got some great pitching from Jamie Navarro. They got the long ball when they really needed it from Ray Sanchez and Scott Service. They got very good pitching from Bob Patterson. And then in the end, the hero, Mark Grace, drove home the winning run and sent an overflow crowd home very happy this afternoon. So it was cold, but under bright sunshine, the Cubs come out on top 5-4, and we'll be back with the GMC highlights coming up after these messages.
At Burger King, we're not your mother.
Eat your vegetables.
Whopper,
no tomato. So you can order your Whopper any way you want.
You don't need all that ketchup and extra ketchup.
Broiled to perfection over an open flame and then fixed fresh your way for a one-of-a-kind taste.
Don't take such big bites.
With fries and a drink, it's just $2.99.
Watch your penny.
Listen to your mother. The delicious $2.99 Whopper value meal at Burger King. Get your burger's worth.
Touch bottled lightning and learn why lightning strikes where it does. It's the world at your fingertips at Science Carnival, now playing at the Nature Museum of the Chicago Academy of Sciences through June 16th at North Pier.
On the Wayans Brothers, when Sean loses the spirit of Easter.
Ain't no such thing as an Easter bunny.
Can Marlon convince him to keep the faith?
I seen the Easter bunny. He left me behind these little pellets of chocolate. That wasn't chocolate.
Then, on Unhappily, Jenny's celebrating springtime with a day in the country.
I want to have a beautiful family picnic.
But is this family ready for the great outdoors?
You killed Daddy. Now can we go home?
The WB Comedy, Wednesday night on WGN.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here.
Your best friends share your point of view. Shouldn't your truck go where you want to go? Go for a Sonoma.
For a limited time, get the lease deal you've been waiting for on a new Sonoma at your Chicagoland and Northern Indiana GMC dealers.
Didn't look good early for the Cubs as Jamie Navarro on the mound surprisingly threw 3 wild pitches. Here was one of them, and it scored the first Padre run. Wally Joyner scores, Padres on top 1-0, and then the suicide squeeze. Cedeno scores, great bunt by Ashby. Padres on top 2-0, but that was before Boom Boom Sanchez comes up. Had 3 home runs last year. He has 1 this year, and this a big one, tying the game at 2. And then it's Scott Service time as he goes way back. This one coming in the 7th inning. And it puts the Cubs on top 4-2. But the Padres scrambled back. They scored a couple of runs. And it's a 4-4 game with the bases loaded and Mark Grace up. Taking it right down the line by a diving Ken Caminiti. Sanchez, one of the heroes of today, scores. And the Cubs go on to win 5-4. And we'll be back with a final word after these messages.
Thousands of forest fires are started by people who never realize what they've done. Some never even set foot in the forest.
Michael Caine loves Sally Field.
I'm enormously attracted to you.
I don't make love before the first date.
Steve Gutenberg loves Sally Field.
Marry me, Daisy.
You have to say yes.
I do?
You do.
But who does Sally Field love?
I feel sick.
When a love story
It was incredible.
gets this confusing,
You're a weird person, aren't you?
it's time to
Can you just stop being a hopeless romantic?
surrender. Tonight at 7 on WGN Channel 9.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here.
Your best friends share your point of view. Shouldn't your truck go where you want to go? Go for a Sonoma.
For a limited time, get the lease deal you've been waiting for on a new Sonoma at your Chicagoland and Northern Indiana GMC dealers.
That's Wednesday's probable starters. Joey Hamilton, a talented young right-hander for the Padres, and Frank Castillo. You look at those numbers against the Padres, you would figure it would bode well for the Cubs. He's 6-2, a .223 lifetime ERA against San Diego. And the Cubs learning to win at home, and they have to, because they play 15 of their first 20 right here at the friendly confines. So our next telecast, Wednesday afternoon with a leadoff man at 1 o'clock. It's the Cubs and Padres once again and we'll see you on Wednesday afternoon. So the
suffered a massive heart attack and died at a Cincinnati hospital less than an hour later. Some of the following pictures might be troubling. Not right away, though. This was the scene before the game. Everything seemed well enough. The umpires and managers gathered. Then this terrible moment. McSherry had just made a call on a pitch. He turned away from the plate and collapsed. Quickly, aid was on its way. There you see what Riverfront fans watched in horror. McSherry calling for help just minutes after the opener had started. And he went to the ground. And the players, fellow umpires, and the crowd stood by helplessly, consoling each other as team trainers and paramedics worked to revive McSherry. He was taken to a Cincinnati hospital, but efforts to save him failed. He never regained consciousness, dead at the age of 51. Originally, the decision at Riverfront was to continue with the game after a delay, but that was reversed. The decision our Peter Gammons has learned was led by Reds players. The game put off until tomorrow.
He was fine when he put on his equipment. The only time that he seemed to have any problem is after the second hitter, and he waved for Steve to come in. Then I knew John was not, as soon as John started waving, I knew that John was having a problem.
I was just there. I heard him say times, you know. I didn't think anything was wrong until I turned around and saw him fall down. And I just knew then he was having a heart attack or something.
Once we rolled John over, John never became conscious. I don't think he even heard me when I was talking to him when I got to him.
There's no way we could go back out there and play baseball today. I mean, we're still a community, even if it is an umpire, and we'd struggle through a game, and there's no sense of having that happen.
You don't expect things like that, and you just caught off guard, and, you know, it's still shaky.
Well, we're all brokenhearted. We lost a comrade, we lost a great umpire and a good guy. I mean, if you knew John, you knew he was a wonderful person, and he gave it his all. And every one of us, when we found out in the middle of the game, I think we worked the last half in shock. We're all brokenhearted.
John was so popular among the umpires, and you know, so I think that right now they're just attempting to regroup and get their thoughts, as we all are.
Under these circumstances, it wouldn't be fair to the umpires either. I mean, because, you know, watching Jerry Crawford out there, he broke down out there, and you could tell how close he was to him.
Emotional scene in Cincinnati. Umpire Tom Hallion left Riverfront to be at the hospital with his fellow umpire and friend, who at 328 pounds had been through a number of medical problems. Most recently, he had to leave a series last August after complaining of shortness of breath. And in fact, McSherry recently told a friend his biggest fear was that the league would force him to stop umpiring because of his health troubles. He had planned to see a doctor tomorrow about an irregular heartbeat. McSherry was a major league umpire since 1971. He was second in service among National League umpires and worked 2 World Series. More on John McSherry's career coming up later in Sportscenter.
4 weeks after the incident that found Michael Irvin in a hotel room with a former teammate, 2 women, and a quantity of drugs, the Cowboys wide receiver has been indicted by a Dallas grand jury. The 2 charges are possession of marijuana and possession of a controlled substance. Irvin appeared in court today to hear the indictments that relate to an incident that took place on March 4th. The 2 women involved have also been indicted, but reports say that they have been granted certain immunities for their cooperation in the case. As for Irvin, he continues to maintain his innocence.
Michael Irvin will plead not guilty because he is not guilty of this offense and will be tried in a court, not in the press. Thank you.
One Dallas television station reports that Irvin's fingerprints were found on a plate in the hotel room that contained residue from cocaine. No trial date for Irvin has been set so far, and if convicted, he will face a maximum of 20 years in prison and a fine of $10,000. We turn our attention now back to baseball, and if you harken back to a year ago, you will recall that there was no baseball to talk about back then, unless, of course, you get really fired up about labor talks. Instead, the league found itself with a legion of empty ballparks and even more animosity from its fans. A great deal of that directed at the Atlanta Braves. Tom Glavine, of course, amongst the most outspoken player representatives, and the fans held him and his colleagues responsible for taking away their game. Of course, time heals wounds, but the Braves got something that heals even more, and that celebration continued today. The Braves raising their championship banner as they open up the season against the Giants, and things looking fairly normal for the Braves. Greg Maddux in form, striking out Robbie Thompson, but then bottom of 1, Braves up 1-0. Ryan Klesko, and that is deep off of Mark Leiter. deep and gone. First of the year, needless to say. Let's not go over that again. 3-0 Braves. Bottom of 5, Braves up 4-2. That is the crime dog, and he takes a bite out of Leiter. 2-run shot, 6-2 Braves. Leiter 6 runs in 5 innings. 6th inning, 1 on for Shawan Dunston. He hits that one down the line, and it is, we're not calling it the foul pole anymore. That's the fair pole and into the net. And that's gone. Bobby Cox has seen enough. Maddox pulled after 5, but the Brave offense would pick up. Jeff Juden serves up that gopher ball to Mark Lemke in the other direction. 4th Braves home run of this game, 7-4 Atlanta. And finally in the 8th, Jerome Walton. He's a pinch hitter, and he comes through in the pinch. Deep and yard left center field. 5 home runs in all for the Braves, and they win it despite a not sterling performance from Greg Maddux. 10-8. Maddux allowing 4 runs in 5 2/3. And just to put those numbers in perspective, he only gave up 3+ runs in a game twice in all of last season. The Giants open on the road for the 8th time in 9 years. Nearly half their roster is new since opening day a year ago. Moving on, the Cards and Mets opening up. Tony La Russa's first game as Cards skipper. 3-0 they lead in the 4th. Bobby Jones, Willie McGee, 2 men aboard and 3 men in. Pat Borders, Luis Alicia score along with him, and the Cardinals lead 6-love. Then at the top of the 7, Mets have closed it to 6-3. They're looking for more. 2 on. Ray Lankford down the line. Royce Clayton going to try
9 points and 10 rebounds. And Tony Delk of Kentucky had 24 points, tied an NCAA championship game record with 7 3-point field goals. Steve Alford and Dave Seeger of Oklahoma had the other ones. Now, fellas, you guys waited for a long time for your championship. What is Rick Pitino feeling right now?
I want a great congratulations to Rick Pitino. If anybody knows how he feels, Pat, it's me, and it's a great feeling for him, and certainly a calmness will come over him and help him now.
Do you just kind of go, huh, when it's over, and just the, you know, the relief?
Well, Pat, when I looked at Rick Pitino's face as he was accepting the trophy and then talking to the crowd, I saw fulfillment. I saw pride, and I saw a guy who did a great coaching job this year in taking the most talented team in the country to its well-deserved national championship.
Well, you know, when he walks out in the hallway, someone's going to say, "Can you repeat?" Right? You love that, don't you?
Absolutely.
Quinn, your take on the night, huh?
You know, you look at Syracuse. This is a team that nobody thought would be here. And I mean, they played admirably. They played hard. They got carried. The turnovers caught them eventually. They played a team. I say it again. You talk about the fabulous 5 from Michigan. Nobody in the history of basketball has had 11, 12 players this good to play together. They're a very well-coached team, deservedly the national champions.
By the way, Tony Delk has gotten his due. He's been named the most outstanding player of the entire tournament, and well-deserved. He came up big this time. We're going to have one shining moment in a little bit here, but when we come back, we're going to hear from Jim Boeheim right after this. Stay with us.
Yes, another morning, another trek to the office. But in the new Mercedes E-Class, you're in one of the safest cars on the road. You're inside a protective cage with front airbags and, get this, side airbags. Heaven knows there are animals on these roads.
I was just at the dentist. Really needed something for pain. What does he give me? Advil.
On tough dental pain, 2 Advil work better than any 2 extra-strength Tylenol, even better than 2 tablets of Tylenol with codeine.
Advil is that good.
Yeah, I took the High Endurance Challenge from Old Spice because I didn't really think it could work better than my old deodorant. But it does. If you don't think it's the best, call 1-800-PROVE-IT and they'll buy you a stick of yours. Now you got proof. Guaranteed.
Okay, I'm sending the contract to the office right now.
A task like transmitting documents to the electronic world can be an easy thing for a network to do. Assuming, of course, the network was designed for transmitting documents.
Contract? I don't have any contract.
Surgery is a step-by-step procedure, but that doesn't mean anyone can do it. Midas Way isn't so different. Midas Auto Systems experts are among the most highly trained in the industry. And for every system they work on, they have rigorous step-by-step procedures. From alignment and suspension to braking and exhaust systems, they're so thorough, the job's done right. Well, they may leave a clamp in there, but only if it's necessary. Midas Auto Systems experts. What can we do for you today?
The cop.
Bada bing.
The Mountie.
Bada bing.
And the player?
So we gonna play today or what? Yeah, give me the ball.
Isaiah Thomas on an all-new Due South, CBS Friday.
Well, Pat Riley, who knows a thing about coaching in New York and knows a thing about Kentucky, once said there's no such thing as winning and losing. It's winning and misery. And so Kentucky goes on to a national championship, and Jim Boeheim recorded this interview a short time ago with Andrea Joyce.
Coach, you gave them a tough battle. How tough is it, though, to sustain a comeback when they keep coming at you with fresh legs?
Well, you know, we knew that. We knew it would be tough, but I don't think that that was the key to the game. I just thought Kentucky made a couple great plays when they had to. I don't think we got, I mean, we were tired, but no more than usual. We played the same 7 guys all year. You know, we knew we were going to turn over a little bit, but Kentucky just made great plays. Delk's a great player, great senior. When we got down 13 or 14, most teams, Kentucky would have blown out at that stage. I'm just proud of my players. They weren't going to give up. They were going to come back, and we cut it to 4. We had a good opportunity, but you have to give Kentucky credit. At that stage of the game, when we cut it to 4, they made 2 great plays, and that was the ball game. But my kids have just had so much heart all year long, and in this tournament, I think they earned a little respect.
How satisfying is this for you? You've had great teams in the past, but to accomplish so much with this particular team when it wasn't expected.
Well, you know, whenever you do something that's unexpected, it's nice, but I'm just proud of the kids and feel bad because they gave everything they had, and sometimes in sports that's not enough, and I think that's what I told them at halftime, at the end of the game. It is enough when you give everything you had.
Coach, thanks so much. We appreciate it.
That could be the story right there. One coach backstage, one coach on center stage, cutting the nets down, Rick Pitino. When we come back, we'll have your shining moments.
The sophisticated material that's used to make the cockpit canopy of the F-16 fighter shatter-resistant is the same material we use to make the headlamp covers on the Aurora. So you can imagine how advanced the rest of the car is. Aurora by Oldsmobile. It's your money.
Child's play.
Whoa. Shaken, not stirred.
Nothing's more intense than slamming a deuce.
In Prague, you can trade them for a car.
You look at a garage a lot differently when you see who it belongs to, especially when you look at Sears Garage. You'll find tires, batteries, brakes, shocks, and front-end work, backed by the guarantee that made Sears famous. So when you need a good garage, take a look at the one attached to our house, Sears Auto Center.
What makes United's Mileage Plus program different? Maybe it's that as employee owners, we don't just work here. And maybe that's why we've been voted the airline with the best frequent flyer program 2 years running. Come fly the airline whose Mileage Plus program truly is premier. Come fly our friendly skies.
Thursday, has this doctor found a cure for cancer? She says it saved her life. So why does the government want to take her medicine away? 48 hours Thursday.
Welcome back to the Meadowlands. I'm Pat O'Brien with our esteemed panel here, and Rick Pitino will be painting the town blue tonight, I assume, not red, but he did a great job, didn't he, Jim?
To get all the players he had, Pat, to blend in together, he did a marvelous job, and I want to congratulate him.
What are the next few days like for him now, Mike? You've been through this a few times.
Not much sleep, but you don't even want to. There's a constant smile on your face.
It takes the player sometimes a little bit to understand what happened to him. But for the Kentucky Wildcats, this is their shining moment.
Nice to see all you guys. How much pizza and ice cream do we eat last week? A little too much. Well, we congratulate a Kentucky team and Coach Rick Pitino, who met all the preseason expectations, winning the school's first title in 18 years. As for Syracuse, you know what? If your kid came home from school and said, Mom, Dad, I came in second out of 64, you put them up on your shoulders. And as we say goodbye, we'd like to thank all the players, coaches, and schools, as well as the people behind the scenes who brought all the exciting sights and sounds of the games into your living room. And now for our final farewell to the college basketball season, a look back at some of the shining moments from this year's tournament. So long, everybody.
Ball is tipped, there you are. You're running for your life, you're a shooting star. All those years, no one knows just how hard you work, but now it shows that one shining moment you reached deep inside. In one shining moment, you knew you were alive. Feel the beat of your heart, feel the wind in your face. It's more than a contest, it's more than a race. It's done, win or lose, you always did your best, 'cause inside you knew that one shining moment you reached for the sky. One shining moment you knew, one shining moment you willing to try. One shining moment you knew.
Stick around for late night fun with Dave and his guests. It's all coming up on The Late Show with David Letterman. But first, stay tuned for the latest local news.